What's up, guys? What is up, man? We've got a heck of an episode. It's going to be a little bit different episode. We are trying something new. We were wanting to kind of expand our horizons and stuff in 2025, and I think we have done it good so far. We are growing like crazy, and I was wanting to bring. I've got a good buddy, which we're having technical issues with the video, and so I just have a picture of him up, but you're going to be able to hear his the audio. It is going to be great, guys. But if you don't know, I'm Colin Burnett,
Pappy J,
and we have a buddy of mine that I went to high school with at Tyner Academy, and we've got Demonte Bolden. What's up, brother?
Hey, how you doing, man? How y'all doing?
Man, just living the dream. Demonte, so we went out fishing here, what was it, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago?
Most definitely.
And, man, it was a time. I thoroughly enjoyed it. We had my dad out on the boat with us as well, and he was saying, it was good to see you and Demonte being able to talk and go back and talk about our high school days, being able to over there at Tyner and stuff. So it was really enjoyable. We the picture that we have up right there is actually one of the fish. I think we're going to say that was the smallest fish Demonte caught. So we're just going to say that. So, but man, it was a blessing to be able to have you on. We've actually got it scheduled again to go out, and this next time maybe we'll bring old Pappy out here with us, and
yes, sir.
Let you show him how it's done, Demonte.
That's right. Somebody needs to.
Most definitely.
Before we get started, though, I got something for you here, Demonte. Uh-oh. Here we go. Best spot song in the world right there.
Let's mute that off of here.
I just had to do it.
But guys, and if Pappy will kind of scroll up a little bit,
let's show it off. Let's show it off.
We'll be able to
look at there.
Look at that. That jersey that is right up over, I guess it's your right shoulder. That is Demonte's game jersey from Tennessee, and it looks like those are a whole lot better built than what they are right now, for sure. But old Demonte, I asked him for it. I said, Demonte, old Pappy, he's an Alabama fan. I need to grab one of your Tennessee jerseys so I can put it up on the wall. And so he done me a solid right there. So thank you, Demonte.
Oh, good. No problems, man. No problem.
I ain't gonna lie. I knew y'all two was up to something, so I had brought something to put over whatever y'all was up to. my great Alabama flag. But as soon as I walked in, I seen it. I thought, man, that's pretty cool. That was pretty cool that you did that. We really do appreciate that, man. That means a lot.
It really does. And
I'm sure you got plenty of memories in that jersey.
Most definitely. I told him, man, I had a couple of jerseys to give him. I figure, hey, man, why not share the love?
That's right.
So I do want to talk a little fishing with you, but we also, before we get into the college football, we kind of have some questions for you on that aspect of it, because there's no better person to ask. And I know, just knowing you from Tyner and all that, and knowing and seeing who you've grown up to be, that you're going to give us the honest opinion, goods and the bads of what's going on with it. And but I do want to talk some fishing. So Demonte, how did you get into fishing, or how'd you get started into it?
Well, I was a little younger. My mom used to go fishing all the time, and I decided to go with her. And every summer, during the summertime, I would always fished with her down at River Park at the beginning, and we definitely just stayed off on the side, and we didn't use much. We used just crickets and worms, and we would just fish all day.
Heck yeah. And so, and I imagine, because I know when we were growing up, pretty much everything that we caught was going into the grease because it was going onto the table. Was that the same thing with y'all?
Yeah, it was definitely going on the table, but at the same time, we would always catch and release. We would catch some and we would eat some, but at the end of the day, some of it we would just have fun. Just it was more like a camaraderie thing, sharing a commonality with my mom, enjoying each other's time, just being out there in the summertime and catching fish, man. Just doing something for a young guy.
Heck yeah! So I do want. So when we went out, because I wanted to do something with you, because again, I didn't really know how much fishing experience that you have had, and so I wanted to at least go and be able to put you on some fish. And so we actually went and done some live bait, and was able to get on a few of them. I mean, it was a pretty decent day. It's at times it was a little slow. We had current issues was the main thing that wasn't setting the fish up for us. But man, it was a blast though.
It definitely was a blast, man. Especially when we was out there. I didn't call it a slow day. Every time we stuck a rod in there, we definitely caught something. Then your pops would come on and say, "It's your turn, Demonte." Even when I had a slow turn and y'all was catching them at one point, but as soon as he would say that, I would get a bite or a fish. Sometimes it wasn't fish that I wanted. It'd be a little small or a little bigger, but we definitely shared the catches. If you get what I'm saying.
We definitely did, bro. Man,
that was awesome.
And I'm telling you, and it was one of those things that that it was a fun time. It was the camaraderie, and like I tell people all the time, when you get people out on the boat, it does not matter who they are or whatever. If you've met them just now or if you've known them for 25 years, it does not matter. That camaraderie comes together, and then when you caught a fish, man, I was just as excited as if I would have caught it. And the same thing with you. I mean, when we was catching fish, you was stoked about it. I mean, I think he made more TikToks or Instagram videos. So, but it was a blast, man. And I can't wait to get you back out on the boat. And we're definitely going to grow to where I'd love to be able to get you to where you'd feel comfortable throwing some artificial bait and stuff. So we're going to definitely get you in on that and have some real good fun with it.
Absolutely.
Most definitely.
But I do, with that being said, man, I can't have you on here. I want to know, when you was at Tennessee, we're going to go on, just slide into this football because I've been hit for this. When you was at Tennessee, what was the toughest team that you played against, and during your tenure there in Knoxville?
By far, at that point, there are a couple good teams. I'm gonna say LSU, and I'm gonna say Arkansas at the same, because not only did they have McFadden, then they had Hillis also in the backfield, and we saw that as a run threat. And I felt like great running backs in the SEC, man, they always give a run stopper like me great competition. Like I said, the best running back that I've went up against and also hit head on was a guy at Vanderbilt at that time, and he definitely gave me a run for my money. Alabama's was more of like a scat back at that time, and they were not like, they were going in the hole, but at the same time they were more leaning to east and west instead of north and south.
Right. Now, and you had told me that about Vandy, that guy from Vandy, and I was trying to pick my brain on who that would be,
Uh-huh.
and I just couldn't think of the guy's name. But it actually surprised me to an extent. But Vanderbilt has always had a good running back or a hard running running back. They've always been kind of on the small end, I think. But they've always had, but it surprised me when you said that dude hit you and it was just turning you. It was kind of surprising to me.
Oh, most definitely. It wasn't Jeff Jennings at the time, was it not?
I'm trying to think of when he was there.
What year was it?
In between 05 and 09.
09, 05, 09. It was a pretty good back. He definitely was running downhill. And I definitely was taking in the load. I kept telling him, like, man, you just going heads up. And at that time, I was young, and I was going there with my head down. So it kind of felt like it was a train going through, man.
Yeah. So what was your favorite stadium besides Neyland to go into?
Man, I'm going to say Florida and LSU. LSU was the best just because the passion and the hatred was there. They would rock the buses as you get in. They were at that time they had the tiger on our end of the field. So when you came out, you had that tiger in that cage, and it was definitely exciting, man. Even though when we played at LSU that year, it was a hard fought ball game, and I think that was Katrina year when we went down there. I felt like for it to be Katrina year, it was a packed house, man. That was like by far the loudest stadium that I had been in ever in the SEC at that time.
Yeah, and which we were talking about it on the boat. The swamp is really not as big as what it appears to be. Am I correct?
Yes, the swamp isn't. It kind of like lets you down when you at Florida Gator Swamp. The stadium is way smaller. I thought by having, at that time, Lee, Tim Tebow, and those guys, Dempsey and Hart, I thought, from TV, I thought it was pretty big. But when I entered the stadium, it was very let down. It was a pretty small stadium. It actually like fits inside of Neyland Stadium.
That is crazy.
So Vandy's running back from 05 to 09, Reggie Bush. That's what it says. It says Commodores during 05-09 football season was Reggie Bush.
Nah.
I don't know. That can't be right.
That's not right.
Nah. He was at USC
that I know it, but that's what it pulled up.
Yeah, so, that's not right. Mm-mm.
So we got the traveling fisherman in Alaska. What's up, brother? He just came on and said, "Good evening, guys." What's up? So what if you like? Because I know right now, like you're coaching football and you also coaching basketball. So what if there's a kid that's out there, because we've got age range from all over that will watch this and listen to it. If there's a kid that's wanting to go and try to get into, let's just say, college football and let alone D1 school, what is your main focus that you're telling these kids that you're coaching that they need to focus on?
Well, since all these NIL deals are here, it's a little harder because if the NIL deals wasn't here, I would tell them to focus on their grades, more or less the scores. Like I say, cream always rises to the top, but at the same time, focusing on your grades is the main thing. I'm not trying to just be political, but a lot of times, man, you have some great talent out here, but unable to get the grades to get into college. For a D lineman, I would tell them to most of all, work on footwork, quickness, and footwork for a D lineman. Just because strength to come, hands will come, But when you go to a D1 school, you want a kid to have great feet. If he has great feet, man, it can get him anywhere. Anywhere he can play any position on the field just because his feet are great and he's able to pick them up and put them down just as fast as he does.
Yeah, and I mean, and you hit the nail on the head too. Like, I mean, the books are hitting the books and making sure that you're getting a good education is the main thing, because one of these days the football gods or baseball gods or whatever people want to say are going to tell you that that is your last game, and
Facts. Facts.
So and you got to have something else to fall back on, and so being able to have a good education is something well worth to fall back on.
Most definitely. Um, Even if you don't get the NIL deals, at least you can get your foot in the door somewhere with the name of your university and also a degree behind them.
So what is the one thing that Demonte has learned through coaching these kids?
Man, to be honest with you, like being a coach is like almost being a great teacher, right? If you can coach well, that means you can be a good teacher. I think more or less me learning is basically I'm gonna say getting the youth back um, or being able to come into the same common ground with these kids. It's not
Right.
more or less of learning. It's just it's hard because every kid is different, and then you see great talent. You got to learn how to expose that talent. You got to learn how to get that talent out of that kid and best use that kid as well as you can for your scheme and your program, right? I know as a high school coach, I see a big guy or a D lineman guy, and I know he's not aggressive, but I got to use his attributes. So I definitely got to tailor his workout, tailor his practice to expose his attributes, whether he has explosive hands or he has a great get off. I have to give him more superlatives just to make him feel that, hey, my talent really does matter. And
Yeah.
on the football field, that's all it counts is being a good coach and having these kids become coachable and humble.
Right. Now, have you seen a difference in these kids, or I guess you could say a different mindset because of the NIL?
Yes, it's kind of ugly, but at the same time, it's more like to me, I'm being honest with you. If we had the NIL deal when I was growing up, I'd probably be the same way. Okay.
Right.
At the same time, right now, it's kind of hard because you have to like keep this guy focused on hunger, and a lot of times your prey drive is based on money, it ain't gonna do it for you. You know,
Right.
if your prey drive is based on being better than the next guy, getting off better than the next guy, you gonna excel. I think the NIL deal is ruining it for college football. Like I said, man, it's making it not fun because a lot of these kids, if they're not getting a certain amount of money, they're not staying or going. And I kind of don't like that because without the NIL deal, you had the best kids on the squad and they was hungry to make it. Now they get to college, they get $14 million. They act like they didn't made it, and
Yeah.
really, that's not where the train stops. But can I say that it's allowing college football to keep the bad apples of the bunch because the real good apples get that money and they like, you know what? I'm going to be the same way when I get to the NFL. They're going to approach the game a lot different. They're going to want to, improve more and want to succeed and have goals to the next level. They want to break the next Reggie White record. They want to break the next Herschel Walker record. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
that's one thing that the NIL deal is doing for the pros is weeding out the bad ones. Because the bad ones is going to take their money and they're going to cut the keys off to the car and they ain't going to drive well. And then senior year, they're not going to get drafted, right?
Right.
And everybody know that NIL deal is connected to a contract. So if you don't fulfill that contract, regardless of what you're doing, you still got to pay that money back. And that's what they fail to realize in some points. Those NIL deals come with strings and attachments. And if you ain't fulfilling them as a young kid who does not understand contract negotiations and also rules of it, they will be hurting at the end of the day.
Wow. So could you imagine at 19, 18, 19 years old and, not really fully understanding the whole contract concept.
Well, all they're seeing is millions of dollars.
Yeah,
right
but if you don't contribute, then
right.
you have to pay that money back. Man, that's a lot of stress there.
Oh yeah. Well, and the thing is they don't worry about it until it hits them in the face.
Yeah.
But I think though, like with speaking of the NIL deal, Demonte, like I think like let's say a kid gets an NIL deal and they're playing for Tennessee.
Yeah.
I think if they get that NIL deal, that part of that contract should say you're committing 4 years. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You're committing 4 years.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, because Tennessee, I mean, which everybody knows, like Tennessee's seen it here this past off season. And they ended up just swapping quarterbacks with UCLA. And which we talked about it prior to, and it was almost like Nico. He lost both ways.
Yes, sir. He did. He lost.
And just like and I didn't realize it, and then Pappy didn't realize it, or we didn't think about it until you said the taxes that he's having to pay. He took less money, NIL money.
Yeah.
And then he's having more taxes taken out,
Mm-hmm.
and he's not making nothing.
No. Nothing, right? He went to Tennessee with demands and asked for this amount of money, but not knowing, hey, man, if I go to the West Coast, they're going to take way more out, right? Yeah. So basically, you just took a loss, like you said, took a big loss, a big loss.
So do you how do you feel about the school or the coaching staff, whoever made that decision and said, that we were just going to move on from Nico? How do you feel about that? Do you think that they did a right thing by doing that, sending out a message, or what's your thoughts on it?
To be honest with you, I think for Nico, it's a childish decision, even though they blame Nico's camp about the situation. But at the same time, for Tennessee, it was a great move because these top quarterbacks, man, they come a dime a dozen. We can definitely play less for a hungry player. The guy that we traded for, even though he had a great season, he will be making more money than Nico this year if he did have an NIL deal because he came from a heavily taxed state to a lightly taxed state or, none, depending on the structure of his deal. I'm glad, but at the same time, I'm worried. To be as a player, ex-player, and as a fan of the game, I'm kind of worried because I still want to see Tennessee on top, regardless of Nico leaving.
Absolutely.
Demonte, Chris says, "Do you think that Do you think that colleges should approach the NIL deal with the kids not giving them NIL deals straight from high school and maybe just giving it to them from their sophomore year on?"
Most definitely. I can see that as well. It's making them earn that money, right? You give a kid in there, you make him feel entitled, especially when you got a senior that's only making $55K, right? You giving him $55K and that kid ain't even did a play yet, but you got this senior has been working his butt off, hasn't missed no summer practices, has not missed any winter workouts. You know what I'm saying? He's mad as well. He definitely needs that money as well. I feel like he should share that for the first year, you know what I'm saying, until he becomes an established player. I just think whoever is in Nico's ear didn't do right by him. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
Tennessee publicized him and put him on a big stage, gave him, a plethora of endorsements. Not even that, just TV get alone. If you would have won on that big stage, you definitely would have had the endorsements and the money coming in. And I just didn't see
Exactly.
it being right.
Yeah. So how is the NIL deals benefiting schools?
Sir, that is way above my play grade. I really,
Right. Because I mean, it's because I mean, it's college football is a business.
it is. It is.
So, and that's why you see all these TV channels and stuff like that fighting to be able to have the rights for SEC games or ACC, Big Ten, or whatever. They're fighting to be able to have primary rights to be able to show these games.
Yep.
So in my mind, and I'm thinking like there's got to be some loophole in there for the colleges to be able to like, all right, well then let's start paying these kids.
Yeah.
And so that was just my reason and thinking on it because it's all a business.
It is. And I'm going to call it speculation. If you come to my college and I allow you to put on the Tennessee jersey, I'm going to get some of that money too as well.
Right.
It's just not all money coming out. I believe a percentage should be going back to the university and also going back to the program because it also benefits us as well.
Correct. I mean, because you can't have a top-notch program and then not having any kind of fundings. I don't care what school it is, and not have any kind of fundings going back to the program because as time goes on, you're going to have to revamp your weight room, your program, and stuff like that as well. And if you don't have any money coming into it, then it's a lost cause.
It is. And also, you got to think about those past guys who came there who didn't get those NIL deals, who were great, right? Who did succeed on the football field but didn't get paid, right? You actually got to put that into alumni. Some of those guys have to come back like I did, go back and get your degree. And I think that also will benefit the program and help them in points as well, since a lot of times you get a certain amount of points for guys coming back to graduate. It'll help the university look good on paper,
Right. Now, do you think since the NIL, do you think that's going to affect the NFL since now these kids can theoretically be making more money than what they could on a rookie contract unless they're going in the top first round? Do you think that's going to you're going to see a smaller draft going to the NFL?
I'm gonna say you're gonna see a less talented draft going into the NFL, right?
Okay.
A lot of those kids who are talented are gonna get paid on the college level, but like Cam Ward, right? He wasn't really getting paid at Miami, right? So he got that first round draft grade and got paid because he wasn't getting the endorsements and also the exposure that Shador Sanders got, right? I really thought that NFL was trying to humble Shador, but also I'm on the NFL side. I thought Shador was better than a couple of those quarterbacks, but also Shador was getting paid way more money because of his name and also his father. So I think that they gave a lot of those kids who lack thereof money those opportunities to get the first round draft grades so they could get that money to support those families, right?
So I never thought of it as that.
Yeah. Yeah. They're
To
hungry.
me, I didn't think that he was the best quarterback in the draft.
No.
Because if you have Travis Hunter that you're throwing to, he makes any quarterback look good.
Yeah.
I did think that he should. I was more or less thinking that he's going to be a late first round, early second is what I thought would have been good for him.
Facts.
So now this last draft, was there a a D lineman that you were excited to see get drafted?
Most definitely. Number 27 for the Volunteers who went to Atlanta. I really thought that that guy would have went higher than what he did. You know,
Yeah.
I thought he was very effective. Even as a freshman, he was coming out there wrecking shot. But at the same time, they had some negative results out there for him. But I felt like that guy should have went out earlier. But I was definitely happy to see a Volunteer to go into the first round that late. It was a disappointment, but I'm very happy to see him go.
Yeah, because I mean, to be honest with you, and not just being because from Tennessee, I think everybody knows that I'm a Vandy fan. I pull for Tennessee
Yeah.
until they play Vandy. But I was thinking that, I was thinking that that he should have went round 15 to 18, how I was thinking. I mean, because we got to watch him every Saturday. We got to watch him.
Okay.
And I did think that he had his definitely some good footwork and stuff, that he was explosive. I thought that, but I mean, it's not our judgment call to make who goes what pick at all. So
Yeah.
um,
It's more like a popularity contest on that level.
yeah. Dustin Muse says Nebraska exposed Shador.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
Well, you have to know this, Demonte. Dustin and his wife Jen is our marketing people.
Okay.
They are from Nebraska. They love Nebraska Sooners, is what I tell them all the time. These are my Nebraska Sooner fans, because you know how a Nebraska fan loves them Oklahoma Sooners.
Mm.
So anytime he can throw anything in that has to do with Nebraska, he's going to. I do. I mean, they did give them their first loss, I think, this past year, wasn't it?
For real?
Yeah.
Who?
Colorado. Nebraska gave Colorado their first loss.
I'm not sure.
I think, I mean, because they started out with a pretty good bank.
Yeah.
But my dad says Neyland becoming the fifth largest city in Tennessee for every home game, with 104,000 seats filled at $30 per seat equals $3 million plus, with no parking, food, or memorabilia. Big business for sure.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely, it's a big business. 100,000 plus, and I mean, at $31, you're not talking about the nosebleed seats compared to the field seats. I guarantee the field seats are a lot higher than that.
Oh, I guarantee. Oh, I know for sure.
Yeah.
I know for sure.
Yeah.
So, what was it? Could you, like, when you were playing, could you tell a difference from? I'm not talking about like some smaller D1 schools, but like, could you tell a difference in between like SEC and ACC and stuff like that when y'all would play in different conference games?
I would say yeah. I'm gonna say slower. Okay, I'm gonna say Penn State, Wisconsin. Okay, I'm gonna say they were slower. I'm gonna be honest with you. A non-conference game that ran us out the stadium, but we won, was the Raging Cajuns. Man, they ran something called. If you're familiar with football, they ran NASCAR the whole time. So they was trying to gas a defense. So as it was going NASCAR fast, I was so tired. I tapped out more than two or three times. I'm being honest with you. It's different when you play those teams. They definitely run their schemes, and they definitely come to play ball.
Yeah, and because like all I've heard, like my whole life, has been like the SEC is. I mean, and they've always been a powerhouse, but they say like the SEC is a powerhouse because they beat up on each other all year round. You don't when you're playing SEC teams. There's no break, and unless you're playing Vandy, I know somebody's going to say that, but they're constantly you're pounding on each other, and that it's more of a physical game than what an out of conference game. Is that kind of how? Is that a legit statement?
I would say yes and no, just depending on who you playing.
Right.
It's different, right? I would say heads up going against Alabama, right, or a Auburn at that time. They
Yeah.
were more like a little harder just because they had good strength coaches, and we also had a great strength coach, Johnny Long. It definitely prepared us, but when you going head to head and you talking about old school football where they talking about running up the gut, run it, old school football. So it's more like
Right.
you're playing to run every play, right? It's more harder against a SEC school than you are playing against another school. The softest, best, the loudest stadium, but the softest lineman I ever went against was LSU, bro. They looked so hard, but they were soft, to be honest with
Right.
you. Right? It was like when you laid contact wood, you used to plan to run, but you play at LSU where they're passing the ball and they're not running against us because at that time, John Chavis, our defense was the number one run stop in the SEC for the last 4 years. So
Yeah.
they was trying to pass the ball.
Yeah. Now, I don't want to oversee it because I mean it is a big thing. You actually did play. What was it? 9 years, I think, in pro ball in Canada.
Yes, sir. I did, sir. I was up there. I had a great time. I wish they would relay stats and also plays and highlights down here because it would have showed that I had a better career than you would Google and see I did, right? It was more like disappointing, but a lot of times my ex teammates would watch us during their preseason because we would start earlier than NFL and they will watch us, and I would get phone calls like, "Man, you up there doing pretty good. You doing great." And it was kind of disappointing because I always had that dream to play in the NFL, and I always had that dream. I know I'm a competitor, and I wanted to break one of Reggie White's record because I'm from the same city Reggie White is from,
Yeah.
and my goal was to chase him, be as better, and be as fast as him. Right? It was just
Yeah.
disappointing, but at one point you just got to let it go, man. I gave my all to football, and now do I want to go back? No, I don't want to go back, but I would like to coach on the opposite side and also enjoy my life with my family.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, was there a difference in the game in between college and the pro ball?
Uh, honestly, uh, no and yes. College, you had bigger players. Pro ball, you had bigger players who had feet, right? So they was avoiding
Right.
contact. They knew how to play the game. They were technical. They were sound at their passes. They were sound at their protections. They were not looking for contact because in the pros, a lot of those guys are trying to save their bodies, protect their bodies. So they would come up with different moves or different pass protections to keep a D lineman who is looking for contact off of them, right? It was just
Right.
different, right? It's more softer in the pros. Like you have to be real quick, on the D line, offensive line. Cornerback and receiver situations is more of a finesse move. You have to be fluent in your moves. You got to learn how to protect and coverage, and you got to learn how to protect the boundary. It's totally different. It's totally different.
Right. Now, if do you think, and I kind of know the answer to this because we talked about it. Do you think if Tennessee would not have put you as a run stop and kept you at the same high school position, being on that outside edge, how many sacks do you think you could have gotten?
Oh man, a lot. I'm gonna be honest with you. Watching there and being prepared, it was just night and day. Going
Yeah.
from an edge rusher, outside linebacker, I was literally an outside linebacker to putting my hand in the dirt was literally like it was hard. although I didn't know how to in college, I wasn't very good trying to pass rush in the interior because that was my first time playing in an interior position. My job at that time was we had the best running backs in the SEC, Demonte. What you have to do is stop the run. I was taught from Dan Brooks to stop the run first and then play pass. So in order for me not to get cussed out by Chavis or Brooks, I would stop the run first and then play the pass. But I had great games against Georgia as well, man. Georgia were great games because it definitely exposed and helped me be able to look better because I was running sideline to sideline.
Right. So, man, you got any more questions for him?
So did they approach you about the position change, or was this something that I mean, yeah, I guess it'd been your coach. Did they talk to you about it, or did they just move you?
Man, it was if I had the NIL deal and they did me like this, I probably would have left Tennessee. But it was more like you here now, so stick your hand in the dirt. So I was more like, I can't leave because the opportunity here, man, comes once in a lifetime. And being at a prestigious, I'm gonna say public university as Tennessee, man, to play for them, it was definitely an honor. And playing in that stadium, it was definitely an honor. But if the NIL deal was here and I was playing, I would have left. I'm gonna be honest with you. I probably would have went West Coast and played on the edge, and I would have been a pass rusher in the NFL in the edge.
Yeah. So this is a 2-part question.
Mm-hmm.
Who is your favorite quarterback to play against, and your most hated quarterback to play against?
Oh man. Oh man. Oh man. I'm gonna say at the time there was a tall quarterback who was not mobile, but Russell for LSU, right?
DeMarcus Russell
got a sack. Remember, he played for the Raiders, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would say that was the best quarterback because, for one, he wasn't as fast, he was slow, and I can definitely get an easy sack off of that. The worst quarterback I played against was Ron Perlew in the SEC because he was more mobile. And at that time, I was a lot fatter. I was like 290. I was like 295, pushing 300, and I wanted some exposure. So I wanted him to be slow, but that guy would always get up out that pocket and make the great throws and passes that he did. Obviously, we lost the SEC championship in 2009, which really pretty much hurt me. But at the same time, he was a better quarterback, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, I got one last question for you, and but I've got to ask you. I didn't ask you this out when we were on the boat. What do you think that you could have been able to get to Pavia?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know. Javier probably, it seemed like a guy, he high between that line, but when it's too late, he gone. You wouldn't think that, that guy can move the way he does, especially in and out the pocket, right? But I think I would have got some shots if he would have ran it up the middle or up the gut, but if he bounced it to the outside.
Which he did. He did like running it straight up. He'd follow that center right up.
He did. He's pretty good at that. That's what I'm saying. He hides behind his line, and he's short. The fact that he's deceptive was crazy, man. I watched a couple games of him, man. I thought he was great on his feet.
Yeah,
he had a great arm, and media was definitely high on him. So I'm thinking this year he should be a lot better, shouldn't he?
Yeah, and they brought that tight end back.
Mm-hmm.
That the tight end they were projecting him to go within the top 2 rounds of the NFL. But as soon as Pavia got that NIL deal, or was that not that deal, but when he was able to come back, he that tight end says, "I'm right here with you." He said, "We're going to finish this together." And so
that ain't bad. It shows that Vanderbilt is going to be effective in the SEC. Yeah. I just hope we don't add any more teams to the SEC to oversaturate it.
I know.
Yeah,
Like I think keeping the SEC exclusive made the SEC what it was
Yeah,
because we was contenders, right?
I agree.
Obviously, we know Ohio State is a great contender team, but I felt that if they came to the SEC, boy, they would not last. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't be as effective as they are now. But I think we should keep the SEC the way it is. No more adding teams. Then it kind of kills our exclusiveness. You know what I'm saying? I really think I like it how it is now. Adding Texas was like too much.
Oh yeah. So, well, guys, we have Beau is well. He's been sitting here. Yeah, I think he's been listening to us. So we're going to bring Beau on. Demonte, man, I cannot thank you enough. We're going to have to have you come back on, and we'll do this again. And I'm looking forward to get you back out on the boat, and we'll bring Pappy out there, and maybe you can show him like one of them little hip checks or something like that out on the boat. So but
just make sure it's a hot day.
Yeah.
Hey man, thank you for having me, guy. Man, I hope I do get a chance to go out there in that boat and have a great time with you and Pappy, and also tell your grandfather or your father I said, hey man, he was definitely a great guy to be out there, and the jokes.
Yeah, he's in the chat and he's been talking. He wanted me to say something about he asked if I mentioned anything about that huge fish that you had to come off right there at the boat. So, no, we didn't talk about that one.
Hey, man,
we don't talk about the miss.
Tell Pops thank you for catching that huge fish before it came off my line. It slipped away. But when he grabbed it with that net, it was definitely a perfect catch, man. It was definitely good.
Yeah. Well, man, brother, man, again, thank you, and it's an honor to have you on, and thank you again for that jersey above Pappy there, and it's going to be staying right there. It's an honor to be able to somebody come in and ask about that jersey, to tell them that I got that from a friend. So I really appreciate it, brother.
All good, man. Anything for a round.
Yep. So,
all right, guy.
Well, we'll holler back at you here later on, and we're going to schedule that time out on the boat with all of us. So,
all right, guy.
So, have a good one, brother.
Demonte.
All right, man. Have a great day.
You too. All right, guys. As I am getting this all put together, Beau, sorry that it took a little bit longer than what I had told you initially.
Man, I'm just happy I wasn't part of that conversation because I know nothing about college football.
Well, I'm kind of, to be honest with you, I'm kind of in the same boat. I know enough that I can talk about it, but Happy here, he's my college football guru. That if I have any questions, him and another buddy, if I have any questions about college football, they're my two go-to guys. And then Demonte with playing.
Yeah.
We just figured that with having him on, main reason is actually because Pappy's got a boy that is playing offensive line for high school. It's coming up on his senior year, and I was just wanting to be able to be able to get questions answered and stuff to where maybe his boy could work on things and stuff. So that was the reason for having Demonte, and he's always been open, and he's always a good conversation to have. So
he seems like a really sweet gentleman for sure.
Yeah. So, guys, if you don't know, we have got Beau from Volta Power. This is a brand new battery company that is taking leaps and bounds over the batteries that you were seeing with the lithium batteries. They have done their study. And the batteries that they come out, they've taken the good from the from all the batteries. They looked at the bad from all the batteries and seen what they can do to be able to make the best lithium battery. And I wanted to have Beau come on because, again, I knew that the podcast was going to, the first part was going to be primarily football. And so I wanted to still kind of have that fishing feel to it. And so Beau came on, and we asked Beau to come on, and he was more than happy to come on, just because one, they don't have they have the batteries, but it's just not batteries. They also have another company that has some bearings, and these bearings you have to get them, check them out. We're going to go through all this together. So Beau, I'm going to let you have the floor, and you kind of just tell everybody who you are,
sure,
and how you kind of got into the fishing realm and stuff like that, if you don't mind.
Absolutely, 100%. So I've actually been fishing since I was a very young man. I think my mom's got pictures of me throwing a bait caster at like 5 years old. So I've always been in the fishing community, and grew up fishing real heavy in high school. I had the dad that was cool enough to take me out on Friday afternoons, and we wouldn't get back home till Sunday afternoon. And it was just a big part of my life. And then after high school, you start chasing women around, and fishing kind of gets put on the back burner. Then I met my wife, had kids, and the tournament and angling side of things, and the weekend warrior thing kind of went to the side. But still fish when I could. The battery thing is something that my family has been in the industry for over 10 years now. We have a local business here in Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, and we got our feet wet in everything going forward with the batteries on the golf cart side of things. Arizona's Arizona's a big retirement state, so we have a lot of folks from all over the country. They come in for 6 months and then they leave for 6 months. Really messes with the roads and traffic. So the cool thing is when they're gone, the kids are out of school, so traffic is pretty much non-existent, which is great, especially when you're running out the door at a bad time. But what we did was when we were doing the golf cart stuff, lithium started coming on the scene, and we're like, well, we have to get into this because this is something that is going to have better margins. It's just going to be better. So we started bringing lithium products in from people that manufactured it. We didn't have our battery business at the time, and we were bringing the stuff in, and everybody kicks your door and says, "Hey, this is the best thing since sliced bread, man. You got to try this." Oh, okay. So we went through multiple different I would call them distributors, manufacturers, and we had success with some. We had horrible problems with others, and then as it kind of got like newer, so as the technology got better, the batteries obviously got better. But being in it since day one and understanding how it works, why it works, and what makes it work for a long period of time really helped us, because we would go back through, like we get a warranty call, we go out and we check it out, and then I'm on the phone with the technician, so I'm walking through this, so I'm learning without really understanding what I'm learning. And then it got to the point where, hey, I can just show up and do it. I don't need to call a technician anymore. And we got to the point to where we were actually one company that we were dealing with just kind of disappeared. Everybody's your best friend when your bills are paid, but when you have an issue, man, everybody's on vacation, including the janitor. You can't get anybody to answer the phone. So when that happened, we really took it into our own hands. We worked really hard for our reputation. We're a military-owned, family-operated business, and we really want to, pass this down to my children. And to be able to do that, we had to save our reputation. So about 2 years ago, the old man walks in and he's like, "Beau, we need to develop a lithium battery." I looked at him and said, "Have fun." And he's like, "No, I'm serious. If this is happening now, it's only going to get worse with time." And I'm like, okay. So we really cracked down and started doing some stuff. I got my colleague here, Abel, with me, and just kind of making sure that I'm saying what I'm supposed to be saying correctly. He was a big part of it too. So what we did is we took all of the issues that prior people have had, and all the successes that they've had. So we've eliminated the issues, we've kept what was good, and we added things to make sure that it prolongs the life of the batteries.
Right.
And there's multiple things inside there. And I'm sure you guys have heard of the clear case, and we'll get to that eventually. I promise. I'll show you guys. It's an awesome marketing tool. My he's a genius when it comes to stuff like that. But so we started producing the golf cart batteries, and these things they were outperforming any expectation that we had. And we were very happy with them. We're still very happy with them. I mean, we got to the point now that we can give them to our customers because there's no middleman. So now we can sell them for a little cheaper than most people because I don't have to have two people buy it before I put it in the cart. And so my uncle Jamie Shaw, he fished a lot. He still fishes a lot. He was on the MLF. He does all the one bass here on the West Coast. And if he ain't picking cotton, man, he's on the front of that boat staring at that screen. He was like, "Hey, do you think you can do a 12 volt?" And I'm like, "I'm pretty sure I can do a 12 volt. It's just less cells, same stuff." And he's like, "Well, work on it." I'm like, "Okay, cool." We start working on it, and then he went out to lunch with my dad, and they go out and they chit chat, and my dad comes back and he's like, "We're doing boat batteries." I said, "Amen. Let's go. Let's get it." So we started developing the boat batteries about a year and a half ago. Went through a bunch of different stuff, made sure it was completely dialed in before we let it go to the market because I didn't want to have a bunch of people bombarding my phones. I didn't want my wholesalers getting stressed out with phone calls. So we were very adamant about making sure that it was dialed in. There is, I have some pro staff. A lot of my guys are local guys. Obviously, I got one guy that doesn't live here, and the first guy that I talked to, I'm going to name drop him because I love him dearly. His name's Sean Coffey. He locally here is a stick, man. Like you see his boat on the Wednesday nighters, you're just donating. At that point, you're just like, "Oh, we're fun fishing now." And I got a hold of him. All the time. Yeah, there you go. Hey, man, that's right. That's what I'm talking about. That's what it's all about, man. But I called him. My uncle arranged us to meet, and I threw some testers in his boat. And he's had them for about 5 or 6 months now, and he has had nothing bad to say about them. I've got testimonies from multiple people. The one that really sticks out to me the most that I really hold near and dear to my heart is one of my pro staff. His name is Shane Edgar. He fishes the one bass. That's his like big series that he fishes. And
Right.
they were up at Shasta, and this year at Shasta was horrible, man. They had rain on day 1, they had snow on day 2. And then it was bluebird skies on day 3. And what happened was when he went up there, he drove up with all the weather and stuff. He had a little bit of a charger issue, and the charger made one of my batteries not usable. So he has 2 of them. So all my pro staff gets 236s and 227s. So that way they can focus on their job and not worry about mine. And for that specific reason. And he went out there, and day 1 he called me with the issue. He didn't even put his boat in the water yet. He was walking out of their Airbnb, and I'm on the phone with him at 4:30 in the morning trying to figure this out. And I said, "Just run the one, dude. Do what you can. I will figure something out." And he ran all 3 days on one charge on one battery, fishing a competitive tournament like that. And it gives me goosebumps just talking about it because, like I said, these things are outperforming any expectations that we had for them. Even Sean, during the week, he does a lot of guide stuff. I've never met a pro fisherman that doesn't guide. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but everybody that I know that's pro fisherman, they're a fishing guide somewhere. Exactly. He beats those things up, and he uses them. If he's not on the water 3 days a week, he's on the water 5. Either way, and then he's got his tournaments on the weekends. So the longest duration, he said that 2 weeks ago he was fishing Pleasant. I don't know if anybody's familiar with Pleasant, but it's a super deep lake. We've got a lot of deep lakes here in Arizona. Super deep lake, super clear. It's about 30-foot visibility, which is one of the biggest cool things about Arizona is that clear water. Now, don't get me wrong, not all of them are clear, but a lot of them are. And they were fishing an all-day tournament. He was on his trolling motor all day long, nonstop for 8 hours, and he only got them down to like 37%, which is that's amazing. That's amazing. And so yeah, the batteries are doing very well. The Shane situation, I have to give all the credit to that situation to our active charging. Active charging is what separates us apart from everybody else in the battery industry. To my knowledge, we're the only lithium 12-volt marine application that has active charging. And what active charging
Right.
is basically you got this little contraption in there. I'm going to use contraption because I don't want to confuse people with big words, but I got this little contraption in there, and what it does is every 60 minutes it turns on for 10 seconds, and what it does is it balances every single cell within 3 millivolts of each other. So your batteries will never go out of balance. It is physically impossible to go out of balance unless the active charger has a malfunction.
Well, see, and that's what, when they go out of balance, that's what actually kills a battery in the long term, right?
Correct. Yeah. So it doesn't kill the battery. What it does is when one of the cells drop, the BMS, which is the battery management system that's inside the battery, sees that there's a drop and it protects itself and just shuts off.
Right.
When you go and you like guys are trying to jump lithiums and like cross them over and put them in parallel to get them to come back, but if that cell is just so far gone, you'll never have the opportunity to bring it back. That's why active charging is so important.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I mean, I would have never again. I mean, both of us, Beau, which you know,
it's crazy.
We throw little dabbies around all day, and it just blows our mind. And then we go on our off days, we're out on Chickamauga or wherever, and wetting the line, and I know, like with having, like there's no way with the batteries that I have that I could go 3 days with how much trolling motor that we use on the boat. There's no way that I could do it with the batteries that I have.
It's pretty amazing. Another key feature to the lithium is obviously all the talk. There's people that love it. There's people that hate it. Is that forward-facing sonar? The forward-facing sonar. The number one issue that you're gonna come in contact with people that are like don't like it as much is they're either not super familiar with how it works, or the application that they're running isn't fit for the application that they have. So for forward-facing sonar, the number one issue that people have is there's a voltage drop. So like your screens are looking for a specific voltage to be able to function correctly, and the voltage drop comes with the amperage drop. So if the amps drop, the volts drop. Amps, just for people that don't know what the amperage is, the UC ampere hour, like 100 ampere hour or 150 ampere hour, that's your fuel tank and the battery. That's basically what that comes out to be, is your fuel tank. So if you have say you have a graph that's pulling 6 amps and you have a 100 amp battery, 100 amp per hour, in theory, you should be able to go like 13 hours based off the draw and return. But what people don't understand is once that amp starts dropping, the second it gets to, I don't know, probably like 70% or so, now your volts are dropping. And that's what having those fuzzy screens. People say it all the time. You know, you can flip a crappie jig out 70 feet, see it hit the water at 13.4 volts. But come 2 o'clock in the afternoon, when your battery's sitting at like 12.5, that 70 foot turns into 50 foot.
Yeah.
So especially out here in Arizona with the clear water that we have in most of our lakes, is they see us before we see them, even on forward facing, just because of how clear it is. You know, like I was saying, Pleasant's got 30-foot visibility. The people learn how to scuba dive in there. They think it's the ocean. That's how clear it is. And
we wouldn't know what to do with that kind of visibility.
No, not at all.
Come on down, boys. I'll take you fishing. Come on down.
Yeah.
And
now, have you guys explored into like game trails battery?
Like for game cameras?
Yeah.
No, sir. Unfortunately, we don't. We're strictly just deep cycle, big battery people. There are applications out there for sure. I mean, there's definitely. I got a guy here locally. He's a guide. Everybody knows a guide. He guides elk hunts up on the hill, and he first thing he does is he switches like you can go on like Amazon and buy those lithium ions that have higher ampere hour ratings than like an Energizer would. And he says it makes a world of difference. But here in Arizona, just recently, the last couple of years, they've actually outlawed trail cams, so we can't even use them. It's not considered fair chase. Yeah, I mean, you guys got cell cams. We all we got binos.
Hey, we got cameras that shoot deer when we don't even have to leave the house.
What? That's cheating,
I'm
man.
just messing with you.
That's cheating. But if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. That's how I was raised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the number one thing with that helps us besides the active charger is the cells that we use. They're prismatic cells. Prismatic cells are more of like a block, like a cube, to where most I would say big name brands are using cylindrical cells. And cylindrical cells, how they're put together is you got like a 16th inch piece of I don't know if it's tin or aluminum, some kind of shiny metal, and they put it in between, and they have these little rods that go through it, and then you screw it in on top. So you got positive on one side, negative on the other side.
Right.
So they're running them all in parallel. So if you're going through the lake and you're wishy-washy or something, or you get a little kind of squirrely coming out of the hole, or you just got some rough weather, some big waves, some big water coming, or anything like that, those things are bouncing around and they're just held in with nuts and bolts. And I don't even know if there's lock washers. They might. I mean, that would make sense, I hope. And shaking back and forth, you're going to have that shake, rattle, and roll, and those things are going to back out eventually. That in the golf cart world, we deal with that all the time. We call it a burn down. You come on and off the cart path, go for holes, sprinkler heads, washes, big rocks. I mean, most of the time these folks are enjoying themselves with some adult beverages when they're out there swinging the clubs, and they don't really pay attention. And that terminal gets loose, it will burn that down. It'll burn down the terminal. So
Yeah.
the prismatic cells that we have are all 100% laser welded. So they're not put together with nuts and bolts. They're laser welded together. They're not going anywhere. They're not breaking. We use bars of aluminum, and the aluminum is what puts the prismatic cells positive to negative in series. Those are laser welded together. And if it's not laser welded, it's with a screw inside of the insert, and then we put our TV over top of the bolt as well, so that even if it does jiggle, it ain't backing out. There's just it's not going to happen. And it's just little things like that that really make a difference when it comes to the internals of a battery, because you can't see inside. You can't crack the top and inspect it, once or twice a month. So you just have to trust that whoever built the battery did it with care. And me being in the battery world, that was a big part of it, was just understanding that we need to think more 5 years from now than tomorrow. So, we give an 8-year warranty on these batteries. It's a 5-year free replacement, 3-year prorate. Anything happens within 5 years, you go inside the app that's connected to your battery, and you screenshot it and you show me, hey, Beau, this is bad. Okay, sir, there's one in the mail. Use the same box, send the one back to me. You don't got to send it in. You don't got to have the people take it apart and try to diagnose it, because they're giving you a new one anyway most of the time. They just want to see what's wrong with the old one before they give it to you.
Right.
And I don't want people to be down for that long. Especially, like I said, I always go back to the golf cart stuff, because that's where it really makes the difference for us. Is when we went back to the, you have to pull that battery out and send it back. It takes 7 days just to get there. And then they got to look at it for 4 days. And then it takes 7 days to get back. We're out of a cart for almost 2 weeks. That's unacceptable. I don't want, and then I have to go and put a battery that I haven't sold in their cart as a loaner. Now I'm losing money because I have a battery that I can't sell, because I'm trying to keep my customers happy and keep them on the road. And we just got done with it. So Volta Power was born.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's and I really like the mentality. I mean, because it seems that, like, the customer service, I mean, to me, that's what sells a company. I mean, because I've gone to where, and it's been some big name people that are companies that's in the fishing industry, that it seems like it's like pulling hen's teeth to maybe get a rod replaced or something like that broke on a cast with throwing a half-ounce chatterbait, that they did not want to replace it. They wanted I had to go do this and do that, and have pictures sent to them, and then they wanted me to send the rod back to them, break the rod to be able to fit it into a box so they can look at the break that happened. And I'm like, how are you going to know which one broke from the chatterbait to which one that I broke, just over my knee? and it was
Yeah.
the customer service is just horrible. And when we can get into like with the company and stuff like that, that the customer service to where if I have a friend that calls me and says, hey, I need a battery, then we have no problem saying, hey, you need to go check out Volta. And because one, if it goes bad, you're gonna have great customer service, and because customer service sells. I mean, I think
Customer service
have
is
gotten
sales.
away
Yes.
from it, that it's too easy. People like beforehand, like when we were growing up, you had to go and talk to these people face to face. So more people was more kind to people. Now it's over the phone, and so now these companies, people
Through
just
email.
don't care, or through email, and so then they just want to be. They don't care if they're hateful to you because they're not having to see you face to face.
Yeah, it's a little cowardly. I understand that for sure. I have a drop shot rod that was gifted to me, and
Yeah.
I accidentally broke it, and I said, hey man, this is the deal, this is the situation, this is the warranty information. I got everything filled out. They're like, okay, well I need your receipt. And I'm like, well, I got it gifted to me, so I don't have the receipt. Oh, sorry, sir. Sorry about your bad luck. Have a wonderful day. Like, okay, thanks.
And that just puts a bad taste in your mouth towards companies. And
I'll never buy one.
So
I'll
just
put it that way.
to hear you talking about like just where you just come on, just send it on, or well, you got one in the mail. Let's go. You're not trying to, because you know a lot of these anglers, or like what you were saying, they have tournaments that they're hitting every weekend. They cannot afford one to be able to sit out for 2 weeks just because they're having battery issues or something.
Correct. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, there was a time. There's a gentleman. So I live on like the east side of Phoenix, and he lives way west. And he was having an issue with the batteries, and I'm sitting in the shop, and I'm like, I got nothing going on. I'm like, dude, I will come out to your house right now. I'll drive out there. We'll go over it. We'll look over it. We'll figure it out. We'll do it together. We'll make sure it works. Because he had a tournament in 2 days. And I told him, I said, do me a favor. Take your old 36, put it in parallel. I know they're not the same battery, but put it in parallel, see if that does something. And luckily it did, so I didn't have to drive out there. But he was like, I'm just happy that you would even have the thought to do that. And we do. We pride ourselves on our customer service. We've been burned so many times in the past that it's not an obligation. It's just part of how we operate. You know what I mean? It's like you got to get it done now. If you do it right the first time, you won't have to do it again.
So you guys have like have y'all had any customers from the East Coast maybe?
That's funny. So Brandon Grubb is from Volt 1. He lives up there in Kentucky. He just became our Kentucky guy. So he's over there doing his thing, and I sent him a battery. I gave him a really, really good deal on one, and he wanted to bench test it and everything, which is totally okay. I understand that. Lithium is weird. Sometimes you get a good one, sometimes you get a bad one with other companies, not with mine. But he wanted to bench test it and put it up against what he was selling, and he called me back like 2 days after he bench tested it. He goes, send me the information to set up the account. I'm not selling these other ones. Let's get it going. I said, absolutely, brother. No big deal. Let's get it done. And so if you got anybody in the Kentucky area looking to get your boat rigged up, Volt 1, look him up on Facebook. He's a great guy. His name's Brandon. He's a wonderful gentleman to talk to, and he's very polite, and he's just a good person. But yes, as of the East Coast, that's all I have. And I'm looking for everywhere. I've got a thing on my website. You go to voltapowerlithium.com, and then you can click on the little tab, and it says Become a Distributor, and fill out the information, and then either myself or Abel or my dad will reach out to you, and we'll get you set up.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, because with us we live in Chattanooga area, and so
Okay.
we don't get out to Phoenix that often.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. If you do, make it in the winter.
Yeah.
So what is it like? What is the benefits of having a lithium over a oh shoot, what is it? A lead.
Like an AGM or lead acid?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. That's a wonderful question. I get that question all the time. And the first thing I always say is the thing with the lithium is that it is individual batteries that are tied together that are ran through a computer that tells it what to do. So on an AGM or lead acid, it's just lead
Right.
and electrolyte and all the compounds, the paste and all that stuff inside there. So with that being said, the battery is smart enough to understand, because when you, like, for instance, if you were to hook up a 12-volt AGM and you hit that battery, you're boom, falls everything it's got, you're going. With the lithium, it kind of justifies it a little bit. It makes you don't have to do all of it because it's not calling for all of it. So you get about 5 times longer run time than you do with AGM or lead acids on average.
So how are you seeing? Not to kind of jump back and forth, but because my mind's just going like crazy.
I know mine's mesh right now.
With all the information that you're giving, and we love the information, because the more information that we have, the better. As a fisherman, the better off we're going to be able to make a better judgment of what's going to be best for our boats and
Yes.
or even golf carts or whatever.
Yeah.
So with that, oh shoot, what was it? The active. What you was talking about, how your battery will check like every hour or something like that?
Yes, sir.
How are you seeing with that being able to keep everything level? Are you seeing batteries last longer?
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, like I was saying earlier, Shane Edgar's case was obvious. I mean, that's just proof in the pudding. But not only is it usage, it's lifespan as well. You know,
well, that's kind of where I was going with the lifespan, because I know, like, because lithium batteries, they're, especially for marine batteries and stuff like that, like you can go and spend a pretty penny on lithium batteries, and and some people, they're like, well, I may get 3 years out of it or 5 years or whatever, and so that was one reason why I was wanting to ask that, because in my mind and thinking, and which I spent 12 years turning wrenches and stuff, and to me, the more that you can keep things level, it's not going to hinder the lifespan of it. It may improve. It's going to actually improve, because just like if you're running a motor and you run it with a quart low, the motor's going to last a whole lot longer if you had it topped off to where it's full. So the motor's going to be staying well oiled. It's pretty much the same basis of what you're saying, is everything's just staying to where it's going to be. It's not going to keep it fully charged. It's just going to make sure those cells are just fully to where they're operating at top. All cells are operating at top performance, correct?
Correct. Yes, that's what the active balancer does. The active balancer keeps all the cells within 3 millivolts of each other, not volts, millivolts.
And that's crazy.
All it's going to do is it's going to prolong your run time, it's going to shorten your charge time, and it's going to give you longer life. That's
right.
I mean, when we were developing these batteries and we were asking about like some kind of balancing system or how does that work, because there's two types of balancing in lithium. It's passive charging and active charging. Passive charging is where the BMS itself is used to balance the cells. The downside to that is that you only passive balance at the end of your charge cycle. So once you pull them off the charger, you put your boat in the water and on the water all day. Depending on what's going on inside there could be like this all day long, back and forth. With the active charger, they're like this all day long. They don't change. They're constantly the same. And it's going to just benefit everybody. Now, there's other features of the battery that I'm super, super happy about too. Like, I'm not going to name any name brands, but there's other companies out there that offer a heater, and it's like an extra $100. And I'm like, why would you charge $100 for a heater when it costs like I don't know. I have to talk to my dad. He knows all the pricing, but all of ours come standard with it. Doesn't matter. You buy a battery, you're getting a heater. Because just because we live in Arizona, we don't deal with those cold temperatures. But for like y'all, where you're up in Tennessee, it's a little different. It gets chilly, you know.
A
And
little bit.
lithium hates cold, hates the cold. Doesn't mind the heat, but it hates the cold. So we put a heater in there. What it is on the one side. When I show you the battery, I'll point everything out to you. But the little heater is this little tiny cube, and it runs to this heating pad that goes to the back of the battery. And that heating pad heats the batteries through and keeps the ambient temperature inside the battery above. I think it's like 58 degrees. I'm probably going to get wrecked on that in the comments, but that's a good, because anything close to freezing is no good. I mean, that's why you see Teslas on the side of the road up in Alaska. You know, that's the whole reason why. It's lithium just does not perform well in the cold. So like if you put this in an RV and you're traveling the country and you come down here in the wintertime and you go back east or up north in the summertime, you're never going to deal with those extreme temperatures. But for people that don't travel, that do fish, I mean, one of my pros, Roy Hawk, he was up at the Lake of the Ozarks with the MLF Toyota Series, and he was breaking 2-inch ice with the hull of his boat. Not a problem. Not a problem. No big deal. Those things perform for him. He just couldn't find them. Couldn't find them. But other than that, I mean, we thought ahead. We put more than just a thought. You know, like I use the term all the time with folks that are super not knowledgeable about lithium. I just say we didn't just take a dart, throw it at the wall of batteries, put our sticker on it, and go out to spend money. We wanted to make a quality battery with quality parts at a good price. Because if we do that, we're going to be in business for a long time. Because the money will come. We don't need to make $1 million up front, but after so long, you know, you guys, you know, there's people that are having issues, you know, 2-3 years in it, and they just get another battery, and then that guy goes and talks to a buddy that's got one of my batteries in it. He's going 7 years without an issue. That says something, you know. That's
I mean, because again, like because how I think of things is like, all right, do I go? Let's just say spend $150 on batteries, and I've got 3 batteries, so I'm spending $450. If I'm having to go every year and a half to 2 years, I'm having to go buy brand new batteries because I'm out on the water 4 or 5 times a week. And if I go and spend, and if I can get 5 to 7 years on a lithium battery, that 400, I mean, it adds up quick to where it's going to be. I mean, it's a no brainer to go to spend that money up front to be able to have that longevity later on.
Absolutely.
I got a question. I know we talk about the lithium in the golf carts and in the fishing world. We've heard, you know, the lithium working on the forward facing sonar. What about automotive? I know you said something about Teslas, but like just your regular everyday car, you know, or whatever. Have you seen?
Yes.
Do you guys have you seen anything like that?
Not me personally. I do have a cranker battery. It's a 1200 cold cranking hour, 1200 cold cranking amps. It's still in development. Like, we're very adamant about our testing. We don't just put stuff out there, so we're still working with it. It's predominantly for like offshore boats, and you can put them in your bass boats too. Your 18 to 24 footers, you know, like the inshore stuff. The downside to that is that the lithium needs to be charged off of the alternator. So if the car's not running, you're not charging the battery. So, like me, all my pros, I know one pro, I'm not going to name drop him because he's going to yell at me, but he's running everything off his lithiums, and I said that's not the way to do it, dude. Those aren't designed for that. And you need to, you know, get yourself an AGM or some kind of cranking battery to stick in there. And if you need help with the batteries, I can help you with that. It's not a problem. I just need to let you guys know that if you're running your boat and you're starting your motor off of your lithium, and it's not a lithium that's designed for cranking, you are going to have issues with it in the future. Now, with that being said, we just came out with a charger, and it's a DC to DC charger. So basically what that does is it runs off of your starter battery, so that when you're driving around, like, everybody knows, especially the pros, when you're cruising around, you're running bank, you're using your graphs, you're trying to find long points, you're trying to find sand, you're trying to find clay bottom, whatever you're trying to do. A lot of the time when you're pre-fishing, you're looking at your screen and you're just cruising around.
Yeah.
This DC to DC charger charges your lithium as you're driving your boat. So you're topping them off as you're doing your research. And it's very simple how it works. It doesn't come off your alternator. It comes off of your starter. So your alternator is pushing out like 14 volts or whatever. They're all different. And then as soon as your battery charger, your DC to DC charger, sees that you have, what is it, Abel, 13.4 volts, right? DC to DC. So 13.5 volts. That overflow of charge is going to be pushed into your lithium batteries through a charger that's designed to charge lithium. So while you're doing your research, you're topping off your batteries. So that's a new development.
So does your batteries, will they work for like the power pole charge? Do you know if that? I'm
works? Trying to. I reached out to PowerPole with no response on getting them PowerPole certified. But I do have some folks that are working on that for me. So hopefully at ICAST I can bring some necks on that and see what kind of progress we can make. But yeah,
so have you tested like having it, like, let's just say having the boat out and just having it to where we're going to have it turned all the way, let's say an old Trex, and have it turned up to 10, let it run just to see like how long will it actually run?
I have not done that personally. Sean, the guy that I was telling you about that was running it on 9 all day, he runs an Ultrex, which is a brushed motor, it pulls more amperage because of the brushes. So if you had a brushless motor, I mean, if he had a brushless motor was running that, he would have went from like 37, and it probably would have went up to like the high 40s, low 50s. Wow. But I haven't done it yet. I'm working on getting a boat for us here, like to do our R&D and stuff like that on. It's in the works. I've got if there's anybody out there in the Outer Banks that needs a 24-foot dual motor, 500 horsepower center console, DM me because I got one for sale. But yeah, we haven't yet. I do have my guys push them as hard as I can, especially my guys that guide, because I really want to make sure that I get the best results possible. And Sean's been such a huge part of that. He has, like, even down at the Parker Strip, the current there, it just rips, man. That thing is just pushing. And I told him, I said, hey, I know you're out there, you're pre-fishing, and this is your job, and you're trying to cut a check. But if you had like 2 hours, 3 hours to just put this thing on a spot lock right in the middle of the current just to see how it does, could you? And he did. And he fished an 8-hour day, spot lock in the current. So he was in a spot lock on a current with that current was probably running about 9 or 10 just because of how hard it's ripping. And he fished all day with him doing that. I think he said like 3 or 4 hours. He found some fish and he was fishing them, so it kind of worked out to where he wasn't wasting his time. And I think he got them down to, I think it was like 60% or something like that.
See, and that's crazy. I mean, because we're within the Chattanooga, we have the Tennessee River running through our back door. And so all of our lakes around here are all current driven. And that's one thing, like for me, is we'll hit spot lock right on the middle of if we, especially pulling up to a point or something like that. It's important for us and how we fish to be able to stay in one area and to have a trolling motor that's going to keep us in that area, and then to have batteries that's going to be able to keep that trolling motor running to keep us in that area. And so it's amazing to hear that. I mean, that you're not having any kind of issues with it. And so,
full transparency, he is running 236 volts in a parallel. So just keep that in mind.
Right,
But
right,
that's
right.
because he's a tournament angler. So our 36 volts are a 54 amp battery. That's a 54 amp per hour battery. So
Right.
when you put them in parallel, you get 108. But he can't. I mean, he's been through multiple sets of batteries. He's ran all the big names, and I had him on. I have a show every Friday at 3:00 on my group just to reach out to people. I bring my pros on. I bring local businesses in the fishing industry on, trying to just get as much exposure for the industry as I can. It's just our way of like giving back. And I just recently had him on, and he says that on the show, he said it was the best battery that he has ever ran, just hands down the best. And then all the guys that are fishing with him and against him, they're all dock talk. They're all sitting there chit chatting, and I get guys that I've watched growing up, watch them go through the ranks, and they're calling me, and I'm like, "How'd you get my number?" So it's super cool to see that. But I mean, when you got big names calling you asking about your product, you're doing something right. So
Yeah.
I take that with pride, and it humbles me.
You should.
So I know you said that lithium really likes the heat, right? So no matter
it
what,
doesn't mind it.
Well, right. But the batteries never tend to overheat at, just a continuous use or anything.
No, not that I've done, not that I've seen yet.
Yeah.
Now this summer, like Havasu, I got Roy Hockey lives in Havasu. That's his home pond, and it gets super hot down there. I mean, it's not uncommon to have 124 days down there. So we're really gonna put them through the test in the heat for sure. But I mean, with them being in the back and just the sun beating down in the carpet, no airflow, and just that stagnant heat. I haven't had any issues with them here locally. Like, we don't get that hot here. I mean, like, middle of summer, your average day is like 109 or so. So it's not super duper crazy. But we haven't had any like extreme temperature testing yet. So I'm super curious about that. I mean, I'm not gonna share a lot of people. I haven't tested it, so I don't know. But I don't see it being an issue. The cold is definitely more of a concern for me than the heat, no doubt.
So the reason because it down here it gets real humid, and you can be out there on the lake and I mean it's just blistering hot out there, and I was kind of curious to see if they would ever overheat because of maybe high humidity and high heat, or just a continuous use with everything mixed together,
I don't see them failing with heat and humidity just due to the fact that the ambient temperature is probably like 90, but the humidity is 120. That would affect us more than it would affect the back.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Well, we got a question that says, said that we have seen to where some lithium batteries have caught on fire. Did y'all take any considerations for that as well?
That's a wonderful question. Absolutely, yes. So the number one reason the lithium batteries catch fire, and this is a proven fact, you can Google it and look it up, is because of imbalanced cells. Most lithium fires that we hear about on the news are due to people's Ryobis they left on their charger for 6 years. That's most commonly what we see.
Lithium metal.
And lithium metal, right? So
it has a higher discharge.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, the higher discharge. So the lithium metal. So these are lipo-4s. So it's different chemical compound. So it's not like the lithium nickel.
Yep.
Right. I don't know much about that because I've never dealt with it. Because I only know what I know with this, which is a lipo-4. But we knew that was an issue with the lithium metals, and that's not even
that's the brown cells.
Yeah, the tube cells, the cylindrical cells. Those are the ones that are having that issue.
So when people have those batteries that are made from cylindrical cells.
Can you hear him?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, so when you have those batteries that are made from the cylindrical cells, people think of that as a lithium battery like we have. And
correct.
When they have those fires, they think, oh, yeah, all lithium's the same. You got the LiFePO4 cell versus the lithium metal cell with the cylindrical. And those are the ones that have really high, like more chances of fire. So those drill batteries, the vape batteries, people leave them in the cars, in their car. It's all that stuff. It's those lithium metal batteries.
Yep. So it's those nickel batteries.
Right, because everybody just kind of groups lithium batteries all in one bundle and say, well, it's a lithium. It's all the same thing.
And I guess that's where I was going with the whole heat, heat and exposure and.
Yes, 100%. The cylindrical cells are definitely more prominent to the combustion situation than anything else.
Right.
But fun fact, we this fall we have a golf cart battery coming out with a built-in fire extinguisher. So,
Oh,
we're bringing it over to the marine side as well. We're just working out the fine-tuning details on that, but it is coming. Because we just figured when we sat down, we got a little office where we got 4 desks put together. It's our little brainstorming room. And we sat there, we're like, what is the one reason why somebody would not buy lithium? Why would somebody not? With all the pros, what are the cons? And the number one thing that we kept coming back to was that it's called a thermal runaway, or where it combusts. And when we sat down and talked about this, our partners that we're building these with, because we don't physically build them here in house, we have them built and then sent in. So the people that are building them, they come once a year, and we chit chat with them, and they brought the fire extinguisher with them last time, and the conversation about batteries stopped, and the conversation about that fire extinguisher started. So that's actually landing that's landing this fall in our golf cart application. And we are working on putting it inside of our marine deep cycle application as well.
That's good, because I've got a golf cart sitting in my garage that I need batteries for.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll take care of you, Bubba. Come on, Pappy. I got you.
Now, what's the benefits for? Because it's deck talk just because we just want it to be a casual talk and stuff like that. Yeah. So it doesn't have to be just fishing. So. What's the benefits besides maybe longer battery life or something like that? What is the benefits for it in a golf cart than it is to have that lead acid base or battery?
That's a wonderful question. There's multiple things. The one that sticks out the most that I really helps me sell the product is the maintenance of the lead acid batteries. You have to water them. You have to equalize them. There's so many things that you have to do just to get that prolonged life. Now, like with you gentlemen, where you're at, your average lifespan is probably going to be 5 to 8, maybe 10 years. Here in Arizona, because of the climate and how dry it is, you get 4.5 years out of a battery. You're killing it. You are killing it. So, and it goes back to what you said before. So you can go and let's just say right now, I think we're charging $1,300 to install a set of batteries for a 36-volt application. Right. Our lithium's only $1,800. So you have a $500 difference, and you can get an 8-year warranty, and you don't have to water it, you don't have to equalize it, you don't have to clean them, you don't have to check the cables. It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. Yeah. So. And our business, the one that we have with the batteries, we actually physically go out to the house and install them on site. So I get a lot of old timers sitting in the garage sipping on whiskey and watching me out there sweat.
Yeah, come on down here to Georgia. I'll let you install it.
You buy the plane ticket, buddy. I'll come down there and help you out. Absolutely. It'd be my pleasure.
But yeah, man. It's just the information.
It's crazy. I'm loving it.
Yeah, I'm loving it. The thought that y'all have, and because again, with the fire extinguisher, because again, you were correct. If we go out to the lake and be like, why don't you have a lithium battery? I guarantee you 7 out of 10, maybe higher, it's going to say because it catches on fire.
Mm-hmm. Amen. Yes, sir.
And so, just the thought that y'all have going around the round table or meeting room or whatever to go through and actually think, you're not just going out there just building a battery just to build a battery to get something out. You're actually seeing what's going to benefit the customer and how are you going to make a customer happy with that battery.
And that's the thing. It's not y'all. I know everybody's out to make $1. Everybody's got to, but it seems like y'all's mindset is a little different, and that's what I like. It's very catchy, very catchy.
Quality over quantity is what we use a lot here at the shop.
Yeah.
And that goes all the way down to like the new guy, the new guy that just gets hired on, and he calls me and he's like, "Hey, Beau, I got this cart here and I really don't know what to do." I just say on the phone, I said, "If that was your aunt, uncle, grandma, or grandpa, what would you do?" And he goes, "Copy," and he hangs up the phone and it's done. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that's just how we've always operated. We're just, if you provide an excellent service with excellent customer service, there's no reason for you not to call you back.
Yeah. I agree.
So, and I do want to, while we're talking about the batteries and stuff, before we switch to the bearings, I was told that y'all are having a sale going on, or y'all are about to have a sale.
Yeah, it's coming. We're having a sale coming. Absolutely. I'm not 100% sure. I'm more the door kicker. I'm the guy out there shaking hands at the boat shops and doing that. I guess I just got the pretty face of everybody. But it is coming. And speaking of, I do have a sale for everybody that's tuning in as an appreciation for taking time out of your day to come and listen to me babble about lithium batteries. If you go to badassbearings.com or voltapowerlithium.com and you type in Deck Talk 15, you get 15% off the whole site. Anything that you need.
And what we're going to do, is, guys, we're going to put all that into the description. And so we're going to have the links and stuff like that to where you can do all that. But also, before I forget, on Fridays, what time is it that the Fridays that y'all have the podcast?
Yeah, so I mean, I guess you can call it a podcast. It's exactly like what we're doing here, but I'm on your end and you're on mine.
Right.
But yeah, it's we do it at 3:00 our time, so that would be 6:00 your time. We bring on 3 guests, if we can get 3 guests. A lot of these guys, these tournament anglers, are out free fishing and stuff. And we come in and we just chit chat. We talk. It's at 3:00. It's at BAB Fishing on Facebook. That's the group, BAB Fishing Group. We talk tournaments. Roy Hawk just won the One Bass Havasu. So our first show we ever had was him coming in, and he just killed it. He did an amazing job. He's a wonderful individual, God-fearing man, just a great person. And he just broke it down. He broke the lake down. He lives there, so I mean, it's second nature to him. But I mean, Havasu has habitat it's embedded in the lake, and when he's cruising around and he's just day fishing, he comes across something he's never seen before. Boop, there you go. And we just break the lakes down. Most of it is for exposure for our anglers, because when we sponsor somebody, if they have exposure, we have exposure. So it's and it's not just us. We talk about all their sponsors. We want everybody to have a piece of this. The fishing industry, from when I was a little boy till now, has been a real tight knit, good old boys group, and I'm doing the best I can to keep it that way. I don't want anything to change. It's the only consistent thing in my life besides my wife and my family, and I want to keep it that way. So we give exposure to local tackle shops, local boat shops. We have opportunities to sponsor the show. We actually have an app that you can download. It's BAB Fishing app, BAB TV is what you look for in the App Store. And we give at first we send out first round stuff. So you'll find out about it before we post on Facebook or Instagram or anything. That allows people that follow us the opportunity to get ahead of the game, because sometimes it hasn't happened yet, but I'm hoping it does. Hopefully one day we do sell out, which would be amazing. But that's not a big deal, because we got one on the water, one in shipping, and one here. So there's a constant rotation.
Yeah.
I got one more question before we go to the bearings.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Here.
So could you kind of elaborate the benefits of the lithium batteries for the forward-facing sonars?
Absolutely. So I touched on that a little bit, and that's the voltage drop. You got that C clear and all that other stuff that people are running. But with the ampere hour, like we talked about, is your fuel tank, and once that starts to drop, that's when your voltage really starts to drop. Mm-hmm. So with I use Sean because he's my test dummy. So Sean is out there. He's running his forward. He's just that thing's just sitting there going ping, 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 ping. It's just constantly running, and it's looking for a return. So it's actually pulling more than people thinks that it does. And the benefit of it is that when you're running like an AGM or a gel, you're pulling 12, and it's at constant 12, and it's just going. Well, an ampere hour on a deep cycle range 12 volts probably 100 ampere hour, maybe.
Yeah.
But it's not even in the same category as lithium because there's multiple batteries creating one. So it's like running them in parallel. You're pulling a little bit off of both, right? Same thing inside these batteries here. Now these are in series, so it's not parallel. It is a series application, but you're still getting that more draw. So you're benefiting from longer draw times than you would or an AGM or a gel, which is what, like I said before, pushing it out 4 to 5 times further than your typical AGM or lead acid application. So for instance, like I said about the crappie jig at 70 feet, now at 2 o'clock, you can only see it at 50. At 5 o'clock, you see it at 20. With lithium and a high amperage battery, you're going to see that 70 from when you put it in the water to you put it on the trailer. That's what separates lithium from lead acid or AGM.
And the clarity of the screen, being able to create everything from the bottom. Yeah, I get
absolutely, 100%. And the picture is clear because the voltage is cleaner.
Right.
It's just a cleaner. It's like throwing a golf ball down a fire hose. It's just got no resistance. It's just there now.
Right.
And that's the biggest difference, to be honest. Besides all the ampere hour and all the technological stuff I'm going over, that is the most important thing. It's just cleaner power for longer periods of time, which allows that screen to really function the way that it should. Now, there are guys that run them super hot. It just looks like a big old blob everywhere. And you run it long enough like that, you'll start to pick up the little movements that you're looking for. You know, I talked to one guy, he's been fishing the East Series, and he's like, I want to see that fin just kind of do this on the side of the stump. And I'm like, well, you know what, brother? All I can do is tell you that it works, and it's up to you to prove me wrong.
Yeah. Well, see, because like here, when we're bass fishing, or any time, like if we see a fish and we can see the tail kick on it, then we know that it's like a 5+ pound fish. And so, but I know that with having to be, you do have a better, clear, crisp picture with the forward facing sonar with the lithium than you will with the gel battery or whatever. So I got 2 more questions.
Okay. And then after that, I'll show you this bad boy.
Heck yeah. It says, I have a late 1990s boat and looking to get lithium batteries. Will I have to change out wiring to put a lithium battery in?
No. Nope. The only difference with lithium is the source of power has changed. That's it. Everything else stays the same. You're still using your 4 or 6 gauge, whatever you're running. You're still running your C clear. It doesn't matter. The lithium it's still going to get the 12 volts. It's just going to get, and I see where there gets a little confusion with the whole golf ball fire hose thing. I apologize for that. That wasn't what I was implying.
I thought it was pretty good.
I did too.
Yeah, so. But I just see, like, you know, just like the question, he could possibly think, well, I need to redo my wiring because it's older and it's probably going to need more updated wiring. It's not the case. You can run it just as is. The only thing I would do is something that old, and it's just because I'm a safety guy, is I would check for nicks. I would check for critters getting in there, making nests out of stuff, and just look over everything before you start putting some really good power through there.
Yeah. Because that could be an issue in itself, and so
100%.
And that's going to be a fire issue. That's not has to do anything with the battery. That's just faulty wiring. So
correct.
The next thing says, I hear you talking about the batteries according to a boat. Do you have any batteries that will fit a kayak?
100%. Yes, we are actually, you guys know Jen and Dustin. We are talking with them, and we are coming up with some pretty crazy stuff for kayaks. So just like most of the kayakers, from what I understand, are using these little tiny ones to run their forward facing, and then they're using like a Group 24 to run their motor.
Right.
We can have a Group 24 with the lithium. You can run your graphs and your motor off of Group 27. So it's a Group 27 size. So the dimensions are a 27, and it's 150 ampere hour. So at 150 ampere hour, running your trolling motor, because most kayak motors are 12 volts. Running your trolling motor, running your graphs. I mean, like, now, don't get me wrong. I've seen some pretty tricked out kayaks. I know there's some guys out there drawing some big amperage. So this is not a blanket. This is you would have to know what you need for your application, obviously. But I mean, like the regular guy that works 9 to 5 and loves fishing off a kayak Saturday and Sunday, Group 27 will do just fine. No issues at all. A lot of the ones I've seen, you can put them under the seat. The best thing with lithium is you don't have to have it standing straight up. You can actually lay it down, and you can put it places where you can't put lead acids just due to that fact.
Right. That's interesting. So I'm ready to see this thing. I've already seen the clear one, but
drum roll, gentlemen.
I think everybody's going to be stoked about this.
Okay, so this is. Hey, well, you want to come help me out? You can just kind of go over it so they can hear you.
Gotcha.
Go ahead. You want to just talk? Yeah. Can you guys hear him?
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Barely.
Okay.
Barely.
Here, just hold it then, I guess.
Okay.
All right. So on the battery itself, so this. Oh my goodness. This is your active charger right here. So this is what comes out. So you see all these wires right here? These go to every single cell. His arms are going to get tired, boys, so I got to go quick. Yeah. Every single cell here goes out, and it goes right into here. You see it on the backside here? It goes into the cells themselves. This is the BMS. So this is your battery management system. It's mounted just like this inside there. This isn't just for display. This is how it's mounted. As you can see, that white stuff on these nuts here, this is the RTV that we were talking about. This is how we know that it stays nice and snug. And then here, move it up this way a little bit. There you go. And then here's your heater module. So here's your heater module. This is what tells the heater to work. But on the back side of the battery is the pad itself. So this is what a lithium battery should look like internally. You have your heater, your BMS, your active charger, and all the cells turn sideways. And then all your cells are right there. That takes up the majority of the battery.
Yeah. And it's still.
Sorry, I wish.
That's still a small battery. Consider.
This is a Group 31. So this is just like your guys' crankers in your boats. This is the same dimension.
Oh.
I'm telling you, man. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
So. The more I'm learning about this, it's like, why how come I haven't already done it? You know.
Yeah.
Well, we found out just through talking to people and like walking, like me specifically, walking into these marinas and these boat shops and these repair shops. Everybody comes in, drops a price list, and walks out. I take the time to do exactly what I'm doing with you guys. Every time I walk into a store, I'm in there for 45 minutes to an hour because I want them to understand what this is, why it's different, how is this beneficial to your customers and to you. And it just takes time. It takes time to explain it. And a lot of guys would rather go to 16, 17 places a day instead of 4, but they get no calls back because nobody's educated them on what a lithium battery is, why it's different. And that's huge because if you're going to make that big of an investment, you want a good ROI on that investment. You want that investment back. You want the returns. So educating yourself on lithium and I've never seen anybody else show anybody the inside of their batteries, but I've got nothing to hide. I've got nothing to hide. You guys, whatever you want, you cut the top off, I don't care. It's going to look exactly like this one right here. I actually have, well, where did that one go that was right there? Did you put it back in the box?
I did.
Okay.
It was dead.
I actually had one out of a box that I can hold in my hand because we're doing some testing with it. So, but yeah, education is everything. We actually did a video on Volta Power that's about an hour long where we showed other batteries and the internals of theirs versus what ours looks like, just so people could see the difference. And our pricing's not that bad. We're right in the middle. We're right in the middle with everybody else. We're not higher. We're not lower. We're just right there.
Yeah. So again, it's just the information is, I mean, well worth. I mean, because again, I was one of them people that put lithium batteries all in the same bag, you know, until I started watching
the more it's come up, you know, it's just.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, until I started like watching y'all's videos and then the podcast, what I think is a podcast, you know, watching that, just knowing the information and stuff that you're getting out and stuff is very, very informative to people, especially again, like what I was saying. The more information you have, the better understanding you're going to have on what you're going to need and what's going to be the best to perform. And again, if you don't mind going out spending $450 for batteries, and when you can just go and spend the money on lithium, and it's going to last
twice
more,
as long.
right? So I mean, it's going to be well worth
8 years. 8 years is just the warranty. We are expecting them to go 10 to 15. That's what we're expecting.
So,
but that I mean, if you got 8 years of coverage, I mean, that alone speaks volumes.
Well, and I know I just went and bought a lawnmower battery, and they told me that they are no longer doing, because it used to be like 3 years. You get 3 years on a lawnmower battery warranty. They're like, we are no longer doing 3 years. It's only a 1 year warranty.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's to me, it's just crazy, you know, to go and
they're just losing money.
Yeah.
That's all that is.
Well, if you don't mind, let's go from batteries to bearings.
Oh man, let's do it. I'm even more excited about that stuff.
So what kind of bearings is it that you have that could help a fisherman?
Absolutely. So if you don't mind, I'd like to kind of break down bearings and how they work and all that fun stuff. If you got a second. All right, cool. So in the bearing world, how you rank a bearing or like rate a bearing is by its ABEC rating. So an ABEC rating is going to be 1 through 9, 9 being the best before you go full ceramic. Now, full ceramics are wonderful. I'm not a huge fan. I don't think they hold oil well. I think that they, over time, because it's ceramic on ceramic, you get chipping and pitting and wear, and they're just, I don't like them. Some guys do. They're noisy. Like, if I wanted something noisy, I'd buy a DC. You know what I mean? I'm good. I'm good. Everybody loves a DC when you're casting them. When you're standing next to a guy, you want to punch him in the throat. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you this. So, the more I talk to you, the more I'm like, we could be great friends, because that's what I tell people all the time. If they get on your nerves, I mean, one good throat punch solves a lot of problems.
It does. And if you get ahead of the issue, it doesn't become a big one. You know what I mean?
Right.
So and I'm not throwing shade at any of the reel industry. I love all of them. Are wonderful. They do take time. Their designers are well. But just like with any business, you have to have margins. So like when you go and you buy a new reel. We'll just say that when you go and you buy a new reel, the one thing that the reel companies do to maximize profits is they use a lower grade bearing. And it's not that they're trying to screw their customers. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is they're trying to just make the money that they have, because they've invested a lot in the design and all that fun stuff. So they have to have some kind of margin. And most of the time it's with the bearings, because bearings are replaceable. They're not hard to replace, and you can buy easy upgrades for them. But generally what I'm finding in reels that I'm taking apart and I'm looking at is they're probably like an ABEC 3 to an ABEC 5. And that's really being conservative. We only sell ABEC 7 and ABEC 9. And the ones that we sell are hybrid ceramics. So what the hybrid ceramics means is that inside the bearing itself, there is a groove, and that's where the ball bearing sits. And that keeps it true. and that keeps it spinning freely. Now, in other bearings, like a steel-on-steel bearing, the most common issues that they have with those is over time, the bearings get out of true, so they're not plumb anymore. So they start to do this, and that's what creates that. It's because it's not performing like it should. So with the hybrid ceramics, you have that groove in there, and that thing is just zinging and zinging and zinging. A lot of people don't know this. The number one cause for backlash is bearing failure.
Yeah,
100%, 100%.
When I get a brand new reel straight out of the box before it goes on to my rod, I mean, and I've done this for the past 10 plus years, is I will put new bearings in my reel just because of that. I mean, and it's amazing. I'll
send you guys some.
Heck yeah, because it's amazing the fact of if you go and you take that reel out of the box and you throw, and the best way that I can tell is just making like what I consider like a bomb cast. Just try to just chunk it as far as you can go.
Yeah.
And then you get an idea of how far that is, and then you put new bearings in it, and you are getting considerably more. And especially like if you're throwing, for me, like if I'm throwing crankbaits, I want to be able to bomb that crankbait out to where that crankbait is staying in the bite zone for as long as possible. Because I know that if I'm throwing short casts, it's only going to be maybe 10, 12 foot. To where if I throw it out as far as it can go, and if I can get it to 20, 25 foot, then it's well worth it. So I am totally understanding what about these bearings, because every single reel that I have, I swap them out. That's the first thing I do, because to me it is important. And then like especially being able to just do like a roll cast up underneath the dock and have that smooth and it just goes and I can tell a difference, like especially, I mean, I'll just be plain out honest with everybody. I'm not the greatest of cleaning out my reels. I've had reels that I mean, once a year that if I'm lucky that I'll clean these things. And so,
shame on you.
I want to be able to last, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Take a beating, and then it can take the grind.
Yeah, I mean, like, yes, I get that. I mean, like me growing up, I just always took them apart and cleaned them and oiled them because I couldn't afford new ones. So I had to take care of what I had. And, you know, when I first got into this with the bearing, we were going through the different manufacturers most commonly bought, you know, trying to narrow down where the market's going to be so we can get sizes and stuff ordered in. And the number one bearing that I said that I'm going to sell the most of is going to be for a Garcia, a Black Max. There is not one person that I've ever met that started to fish and when they started having their big boy job that didn't own a Garcia. You can go down to the Walmart and you could buy a Garcia and you could buy a Black Max and it's going to work for exactly what you need it for. Most times they're bank fishermen, you know what I mean, or pond fishermen. And when I was at the Bassmasters, I was about 10 sets short of shy of selling out of my Shimano, and I was about 20 sets shy of selling out of my Garcias. Nobody touched the lures though. Nobody bought the lures. Nobody runs lures anymore apparently. Yeah, I think it's an Eastern thing. I got a guy here local.
I've got like for me, like I will throw Lose and Daiwa are my two go-to reels. And
Daiwa was good too.
And so the Daiwas to me though, Lose are a whole lot easier to change out the bearings to me. It's just popping them out and just getting them in. The Daiwas are a little bit more time consuming.
For sure. I mean, like, I don't know if you've seen them, but if you go on to the B&B Fishing Group, I do real breakdowns and bearing replacements on there. And it's like step by step, you know, like they're all pretty much the same. And when you start getting into like the really expensive reels, then you have to really like watch what you're doing because they're just, I don't know why they do it. They just do it. But I mean, I went down to my local tackle shop here and they're like, "Beau, I need you to do a video for our marketing." I was like, "Yeah, sure. No problem, dude." Pulled up there, just went done, you know, and they're just like, That's what I do for a living. Like this is my job. But yeah, so when it comes down to the bearings, like I said, and then 9 times out of 10, actually 10 times out of 10, I found out is when you buy a brand new reel on the box, those bearings are not even oil; those are completely dry. All bearings come dry. They all come
see,
dry.
I didn't know that until I started switching them out. That because how many people just grab the reel and throw it on a rod and then just go fishing, and then
everybody
you don't think about cleaning them or even thinking about oiling them until they start hearing something or feeling something. And
yep,
so
100%. So like, I'm not pointing any fingers, and don't get mad at me, Ben, but I follow 2 people on the Bassmaster Classic on the tour, and that's Matty Wong and Ben Milliken. And I watch all of his YouTube videos, and every time he casts, I just cringe because I was like, dude, let me help you, So shout out, Ben, if you're watching this, man, hit me up. I'll take care of you, buddy. But yeah, no, it's a big deal. One of my pros, he's a college kid out of Texas. I met him at the Classic. Him and his team were cruising around, and my mom pulled him into the booth, and we were just chit chatting. And they were all great kids. You can definitely tell when someone's from Texas. There's no doubt about it. And I was like, listen, boys, you guys are all college anglers. You're probably flipping burgers or you're not fishing. I'm going to give you all some bearings on me. All you have to do is just make a post about it. Make a post on Instagram. Be honest. Don't play the game. Like, don't play politics. Just be honest. And Jacob Brunel has made multiple videos, and he did one video, and he was running a 20-foot crankbait, and he was fishing into the wind. And he said that with the bearings that were inside of his reel, he was able to perform like he needed to. The guy in the front of the boat couldn't do it. He was doing it no problem. Because just like you said, when you're running a crankbait, you have to keep it in the strike zone. So you have to get that extra distance because that first 10, 15 feet, it's just diving. It's not even running, So like you have to take that into consideration. So when you're sitting there like flipping and all that stuff's totally different. Like, we don't do a lot of that here in Arizona, by the way, because we don't have stuff to do it unless you're fishing toolies in the river or something. But we do a lot of long casting, especially on pleasant striper fishing, you're casting out 80, 100 foot, running skinny dippers, trying to get these stripers to just blow up on it. And you need that extra distance. And he even said, I guarantee, no doubt, got 20 extra yards just by switching these bearings out. Like, just hands down, I'm not BSing it. And then he pulled a 9-pounder out of live well. I was like, hey, man, you know what you're doing. Well, so we actually picked him up. He's one of our pro staff on the VAB side.
Heck yeah. We're definitely we'll grab some and I'll throw them on some rods. I mean, because again, we're out there on the water, a lot. And we do a lot of videoing and stuff. And that's one thing, like I tell people.
As a matter of fact, I got one right now.
Yeah.
I got one that is just humming. That, I haven't took it apart yet. Yeah, because I was going to take it apart and oil it and grease it and everything. But
we tell people, like, because when we do videos, we want people to know, like, if we say, hey, this product is the best product that you can put in your hands. We want people just to know that we're not just trying to give a sale pitch, because we have videos and stuff that we're like, all right, this product here is not the greatest. It did not fit, because we'll tell them it did not fit our application of what we're trying to do for it. It's not that it might not be a bad product, or if we take it and it falls apart on us, and we're going to be up front honest with you. So we want people to know that when we give a recommendation of if it's baits, lines, rods, or whatever, we want people to know that these guys have put the work in on this and tried it out. And if they say that it's good product, then they know that that's the way they need to go.
Absolutely. 100%. Like, I'm super proud of our bearings, but our oil that we came up with is me and Abel and myself, the gentleman that's been helping me here, because I've only got 2 hands and I'm not as strong as him. He's a little gorilla. But we have like little chemists here in the back of the shop, and we are just trying to just fine tune this the best that we can. And we have created an oil that we have because I'm not throwing any names out there, but we've tried all the stuff you can buy at the tackle shops, the Walmart, whatever, and just putting it to the test. And this outperforms everybody. And every set of bearings that you buy, you get a 15 mil of the oil, and that's going to get you way longer than just oiling it for the first time, because we want our customers to be able to experience the oil. You get 15 and you only change out one rail, oil the other 37 if you got them, and just see the difference. Just like Pappy was saying. Just like Pappy was saying, he's got one that's screaming at him. I guarantee you throw some of this oil in there, it'll calm it down. Now that's a Band-Aid, it's not a fix.
Right,
but
right.
It'll get the job done.
Yeah.
His reel sounds like it's a DC reel, and it's not. Just to let you know, he's been walking the line of the throat punch. So just to let you know, Bo.
Oh, Pappy, come on, Pappy, you're better than that.
Yeah,
You're better than that.
I'm still catching fish though, so that's all that matters.
So.
Hey, that's it, buddy.
But
throw them in the live well. Fight alive.
Yeah. So how are your bearings? Are they sealed bearings or not?
Nope. They have you can pop the sides off and you can look inside and you can oil them like that. We actually, if you go to the badassbearings.com, you can see everything that we offer. We have this little contraption that's called Super Soaker. It's basically kind of like a bearing restoration. So Pappy, look into that. You could throw your bearings inside of this, and basically what it does, it just soaks up in every crevice of that bearing, pulls all the old grease out, pulls all the old oil out, and then you slap them back in, dry them off, slap them back in. You don't have to oil them because they've been soaking overnight, and even that works wonders. A lot of guys, I just realized that I'm losing sales talking to y'all about that. That's what I'm doing. I'm restoring bearings. I'm not selling bearings. But we have Super Soakers, and then we have our little miniature jewelry cleaners. So if you do have bearings, you're like it's kind of weird. Pull them out. You put them in there with some degreaser. You do 70, 30 degreaser, 70 water. Sit them in there for 5 minutes, and you can just watch that crap come flying out of your bearings. We have all kinds of stuff. We're bringing in rod sleeves for bait casters and for spinners. We're bringing in rod covers for those folks that live in the rural rainy weather. We have all kinds of stuff coming to the BAB store, man. We are super excited. We went to the Bassmaster Classic, and it opened our eyes on what the possibilities are, and they're endless.
Yeah.
And again, we're going to put just as much concentration and thought into the bearing business as we do in the battery business. So you can.
I'm going to do this. I'm going to go onto the website, and I'm going to purchase some bearings, guys. And what I'm going to do is we're going to have a giveaway to where we'll think of a question. We'll think of something to where you can win the bearings. And we will give away the bearings because I know people that has used them and love them. And so, because my next reel and stuff that I'm getting is going to be getting, and I'm going to be replacing the bearings that I have already on my older rods with these. And so I want y'all to be able to, the best thing for you to do is just to get them on your reels and use them. Yep. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to get some. We're going to do a giveaway, and we will.
I hope I win.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah. So that's what I'd like to do, because again, I haven't heard nothing but good news and stuff, and it's not just from people that's affiliated with them or anything like that. It's just other fishermen that has used their bearings. So I want to do that because I think that'd be good. Another good way to be able to kind of help boost it and get it out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, with that being said,
I do want to touch on one thing with our bearing kits is they are universal. So the only thing that's different are the Bantos and the Mediterraneans. Those two are those things belong in outer space. Just put it that way. But everything else, like if you go and you get a Garcia kit, you're going to be able to work on any Garcia. You might have an extra bearing, which is okay. We've incorporated that, so just keep it. Maybe your buddy needs it or whatever. So there are universal kits. So you just got to go and say, okay, Shimano, boom. Unless it's a Bantam or Titanium, then I'm not going to answer that email because I told you we're here. And like Lew's, they separate their reels by age, right? So if you have a pre-19 Lew's, it takes one set, and if you have a 19 and newer, it takes another set. Garcia, Daiwa's that thing's got like 7 bearings in it, man, just because all the different applications. So that's cool. And then like a thing too that I want to tell people is if you are going to start doing your own bearings, please look at our toolkits because there are tools inside that toolkit that you are going to need that you're not going to know you need them until you need them.
Yeah.
Especially those rod pushers, the T pushers, like those things are huge. I've had guys like, just use a pair of pliers. I'm like, okay, have fun. Like, that's not good. That's not good.
So I do want to tell everybody though again, especially with talking about the bearings. I mean, because it is a real simple process, especially after you break one down and get it back together. It's easy to keep on duplicating. So there is no reason why you do not go and change this out. And the performance that you're going to see with changing them out is a big difference. And so I do want to say, though, go and watch their videos and stuff of how they break down different reels. Because I guarantee you, they probably already have videos out that has your reel that you're trying to break down.
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, and most of them are a lot the same, just because the Shimanos, they have the outside cap, you got a 310-4 inside there, then you have your 593 in the middle, and then you got your brake stop. It's all pretty much the same. You've done one, you've done them all.
Yeah,
pretty much. There's I do, if it's okay with y'all, I would like to get this is an exclusive. I don't know how to say it. We have a chemical coming out for cleaning your boats, your upholstery. Oh, cool. And then if you guys would let me, I'd like to have Abel come on here and talk to you guys about that.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, cool. 1 second. Yeah. Just pop those in, dude, if you don't mind.
You just disappeared.
All right. Is it charging?
Do we have the No, I'll get some.
How's it going, guys?
Good. How are you?
Doing all right, not too bad. So we got a new cleaner, actually a new company that we just bought, and it's called Z-Care. And so we've got a marine blend. We've also got a golf cart blend. We also have mildew, and we also have a product called what we call Oops. It's part of the Z-Care line. But Oops is kind of a stain remover, kind of like a red wine, ketchup, things like that. But as far as like kind of like what most guys are concerned about are going to definitely be our marine and golf cart. And so I've got right here. I'll just kind of show you guys. Oh, what's back? So you can see the little Z-Care LVP marine. That's going to be leather, vinyl, plastic, and I really, really, really love it. So. The one thing it doesn't do the best on is like say you wash your whole car down or whatever, or a golf cart windshields. It's not. It leaves like a UV protected film on it, and so on windows and stuff you'll notice like a little streaking. And so just with like Windex or something like that, wipe it off. But as far as like I deal with a lot with the golf carts, and so I use it anytime I get the opportunity to. Wash them, and we got some trash cans around here just being in the shop, and I really like it on plastic. For me, so some guys at the marine I talked with, they love it on wood, actually teak wood. So some like sailboats and other boats like that, they have teak wood, and they say, dude, you guys should make like a specific label where it says works on wood. Like they love it specifically for that. I haven't got to use it for that application. Like I said, mostly what my background with the golf carts, it works great on plastic. What I like about it is like sometimes you get some of that Now, of course, I'm not going to say you get really beat up black plastic that's been in the sun for 20 years and it's going to look brand new. But you get a moderate a fade on some black plastic. Say you get a car that's you get a brand new car, maybe after a year or two, you're like, man, it's not as black and shiny as it used to be. And so I spray that stuff a nice, I would say like a semi-gloss shine. Not going to be some like spraying Armor All on it where it's just like, oh my god, dude, that stuff is like 9 day difference. But it really, like I said, with that UV film it leaves, it helps give it a nice, just good semi-gloss, kind of like a semi-matte coating.
Right.
I do it on the golf cart floorboards, the fender wells. You got the cars that have that new like that felt stuff under the well lining.
Yeah.
It does amazing. Like, it's just so crazy. It works great on that. Now with the on the boat side of things, you got bird dropping, spider. I guess spider thing. I guess during storage, I guess maybe you get some spider dropping little dots and things like that. The mildew and bilge cleaner. So we also have a specific bilge cleaner. You know how sometimes the water in those bilges could get a little nasty, oily looking. We actually we're working on the website now. I would like to tell you guys. Oh yeah, go directly to the website, kind of see. But we are building it. It's a newly acquired business, and so we got some stuff that we're building up on the website. But we've got like a side by side comparison of just straight up. We scooped some bilge water, put in a little mason jar, sealed it up, added some of our bilge cleaner solution to it, shook it up, and let it sit for maybe a couple hours. Literally, you come back later and look at it, and it goes from the murky brown looking oily water to actually you could see through it. It works amazing. So like I said, it's new to me. So I'm still getting to use it and play with it and stuff like that. But I went to one of our biggest. They're on the marina. They're in Washington, and they're right there on the marina. And they sell a ton of the LVP Marine and the Bilge. They say that's their biggest sellers. Now they sell some Oops and they sell some golf cart stuff down over there. But the guys there at the counter, they told me straight up, they're like, I love the Bilge cleaner. It's the best stuff I have used. They've gone to their parking lot where some of the guys' trucks out in the back. They have some diesel trucks, and now I'm not going to say it's going to remove the stain, but if you've ever gone to like where like you go and look and there's like an oily sheen on the road, like man, someone's dripping oil or whatever, like especially after maybe some rain, you go and spray that on there, do some scrubbing on the road. It literally will take that oil slick off the road, and it leaves it just to a nice, dull, matte kind of just finish on that asphalt. Like I said, now it's not going to work miracles, pull out the stain on the street and things like that, but it's going to take up that oil slick, so you don't have to, like, say you have something happen in your front street, and I know bikers is a big thing where they're going down the road, and if they hit their brakes and they hit like an oil slick, they could slip out really easily. You use that stuff to clean up oil slicks in your parking lot, clean it up in the street. It's amazing. It's really good stuff. And it's like I said, we are building up the website on our end because it's newly built. Like I said, new for us. But you can buy it currently on Amazon.com. If you just go on Amazon and look up Z Care Cleaner, literally you can find, we have the mildew, we've got the marine, we've got the golf, and we've got Oops, all available online, ready for you to purchase. And if you guys want, I'm sure we could trying to work you guys out a discount or something like that if you guys wanted to purchase it through us. But we are making it available, so it'll be on our website soon. It's going to be zcaresolutions.com. Like I
just
said,
have Beau, if Beau can let us know when that gets going, and then we'll also advertise and on our end as well that the website's up and going, and we'll also help push that out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'd really appreciate that, guys. I will definitely let him know.
Sounds good. Now, does the marine, does it work on fiberglass and aluminum boats?
Yes, sir. It works on. So we've got a list. Let me see. By chance, is it on here? No, I've got aluminum, fiberglass. It's got plastic, leather, vinyl, the gel coat. It's safe on there. We are working on getting our mildew cleaner. We're working with a company, Sunbrella, so that it's going to be safe on those Sunbrella fabrics. And
Right.
so that's something we're working on getting a certification with them. And so it really is great stuff. And Beau just told me, he says he wants to work on getting you guys some samples. We'll get you guys a little bit of each so that you guys can try it out and test it and let us know what you guys think of it.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely.
That is awesome. So does it have anything that will do like, I know because like I'll use shaving cream for my carpet on my boat. So does it do anything like cleaning the carpets?
So that's where I would use Oops. So that's got a stain remover product in it, and so that's what I would use on your carpets. You can use, not to say like Billy. So I'm sure you guys know Billy, Beau's dad. He uses it on his shoes a lot. I know it's different fabric, but shoe carpet coming kind of a what it manufactured kind of polyester blend, whatever.
Right.
He uses on his shoes, and that's he I don't know why he likes to buy white shoes, especially out here in Arizona, but he uses that stuff all the time. I see him out there, and he got a little toothbrush and he's scrubbing them, cleaning it, and I got to tell you, it really does. So for fabric wise, like on like I said, you're like specifically talking carpet, I would say Z Care, and if you've got maybe a stubborn stain that you maybe needs a little more work, try out our product Oops. Like I said, there is actually specific stuff in there to help remove stains.
That is awesome. I mean, we come and do the podcast. We thought we was just talking about batteries and bearings, and we're coming up with some cleaner stuff. So heck yeah, we got a little bonus.
A little bit of everything. Yeah, I appreciate you guys letting me talk about it.
No problem, Abel, man. Thank you so much.
All righty. Well, I'll get you guys back over to Beau, and like I said, I will have him reach out to you guys. One, about getting you guys some samples. And two, once the website's actually full up and running and just ready to go ahead and get stuff, we got all the info. I'll send you over the link so that you guys can get it out and do some advertising.
Absolutely.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. I really appreciate your time.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right.
What a guy.
Well, I'm telling
Absolutely.
you, I'm looking forward to. I know because like I have to I'll use the shaving cream to clean my. That's the best thing I've found for my boat carpet is the shaving cream.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
so I'll be interested in trying that. Oops.
I'm going to see how it does with fish blood. I think that's going to be a huge winner for us on that for sure.
Oh yeah. I mean, because
everybody's got to bleed fish.
Yeah. That would be easy for somebody, even like to go to a mom and pop tackle shop and be like, "Hey, everybody needs to clean their boats."
Yeah,
everybody. So
everybody does.
Here, you need this. This is, and so
absolutely. He's just that enthusiastic at Bible study on Mondays too. So you can only imagine what kind of guy he is.
So I do want to talk about something. You are a faith-driven guy,
yes, sir.
And so every time I find out that we've got somebody that is not afraid or ashamed to talk about their faith, we want to be able to talk about it on the podcast because it's important to us, and so we think everybody should know a good Lord and Savior, and
Amen.
So. I want to know, like, how have you been able to use your faith and to be able to run these businesses?
That's a wonderful question, actually. Yeah. So, prayer is a very powerful thing. Prayer is something that I do daily. I pray over my wife. I pray over my businesses. I pray over my children, safety, and when you understand how the Lord works and you just put life at His feet, He can make things happen that you never could. Mm-hmm. And it is important to understand that being a Christian, there's a, and it's not, the remembering the biggest thing for me is you thank Him when you're on the mountaintops, and you think when you're in the valleys too, because there's a reason you're there,
Yep.
and he's teaching you something. He's making you think about something. He's trying to, hey, Beau, this is going to make you a better person. And
Right.
and just being in tune with that and understanding that he's not against me, he's for me. I just have to go through this season, and it's going to make me a better person. And
Yeah.
and
Well,
that's the biggest part.
right. And I mean, you hit the nail on the head when you said you got to think him in the good times, when you're sitting on top of that mountain looking out that view. But when you're
Yes,
in
sir.
that valley and that's the time when you really need to thank him.
Mhm.
I mean, but that's the
Absolutely.
time that it's the hardest, at times to be able to think. And so I really appreciate that you said that, because again, I know just in my personal life that in the low times it's been hard to even you're more self. You think more about yourself when down in them valleys. It's all
Mm.
it's a lot of times it's about me. What about me, or what. And so when you do that and you thank him for thank you. I mean, like we drive a big truck, and there's been times to where, you know, we wasn't throwing cakes as fast as what we should have or what we
Yep.
normally will. And we've come across multiple times to where we've just come right behind a wreck to where, well, what if we were throwing cakes at our normal speed? We could
Amen.
have been right there in it. I mean, there's
Amen.
just a lot of things that, that the good Lord has blessed us with being able to do, especially being able to do this podcast and be able to talk to guys like yourself and have fun, enjoy the time, the camaraderie that we have doing this podcast and learning different things. But then when there's times where you have a bad day or you have a bad week or a bad season and stuff, to where you can say it's been worse. I mean, the good Lord's brought me through worse, and I can make it
Amen.
through anything else. So,
Yeah. But if the biggest thing when I talk to people that are having curiosity or thoughts, because like at the church that I attend, I work in the baptistry, so I'm in the pool all the time, and I get a lot of people that come up that just need some prayer, and I love praying for people. I think it's a very powerful thing, and if it's somebody that's curious or somebody that may have some thoughts or is looking into it, and you pray for something for them, and they see that prayer come alive, it flips the
that's amazing.
switch.
Yeah.
It flips the switch, and then 2 weeks later they come right back. Whoa, you'll never believe what happened. And I was like, I bet you I will. Like it's and not all prayers do get answered, and that's for good reason. Because if you believe in the higher power, if you are a believer and you believe that Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior, and He died for all of your sins of the world, then you have to believe the other side of the spectrum as well. And when you are a faith-based person and you live your life, biblically, you have a target on your back.
Oh yeah.
All day, every day. And then coming to grips with that, the first my first when I started walking with the Lord, it was like, man, why? I think the first year I started walking in my faith, my AC went out. I got bit by a dog, and I think there was something else, and I'm just like, what is going on? What is going on? And I talked to the guys at church, and I'm like, hey man, they're just like, dude, you think that being in that pool every Sunday, bringing people to the Lord, does not put a bigger target on your back? And I was like, man, when you put it that way, it makes me not want to get in the pool. But I mean, at the same time, nothing's going to stop me. There's no reason for that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I've had friends and stuff, like I talked to them about my faith, and they're like, all like the people that I've seen that goes to church, like they have a lot of issues, and I was like, tell me one person that don't have a lot of issues. For one, I said,
Amen.
but do you think the devil's going to spend his time working on you that's not going to church? Do you think that he's going to spend his time working on you when he already has you? If you think about it, he already has
that's
you.
right.
Or he's going to be working on somebody that's sitting in that pew, listening and taking in God's word, do you think he's going to be working on that person harder? He's going to be spending his time trying to get that person to be like you, not going to church and not being able to get fed and get his word. And because that's the person who he's worried about. He's not worried about you when you're just sitting at home and not doing anything or whatever. And so that's kind of how I've had to explain it to people is just because I am a Christian or we are a Christian, we're not exempt from any kind of troubles. And
No, we probably have more than you do.
Probably have more
Yeah.
trouble. So,
Absolutely.
but
And that's, I mean, you nailed it on the head. Like you literally nailed it on the head. Like there's no better way to explain that. I have a cousin that I love dearly. He's very, very close to me. He's like the little brother. He has an older sister. He's never had an older brother. I've been hunting and fishing with him since he was 13 years old, man. And he's doing great in life. And I call him all the time. Hey, you see you in church on Sunday? He's like, nope. And then, it got to my, Bub, when are you going to stop asking me? And I said, I'm going to stop asking me the day you sit next to me. That's when I'm going to stop asking you.
Yeah.
I will not accept.
There ain't no telling how many times like I've said in which Pappy and I, we've talked about it before. Like we go to church together. And so there's been times that we've sat there and we're like, man, I felt like I was the only person that was in that sanctuary, that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's
So-
a good church you got there.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. 100%, man. And there's so many different outlets for church. Like you can go to one of those big mega churches where it's like a rock concert.
Yeah.
Then you go and you sit down and you get the word. Like me personally, that's the church I go to. I love it. And you just have to keep in mind that those four walls you're sitting in is not the church. The people
Right.
you're sitting with is the church. Those
That
are the ones
is.
you lean on. Those are the ones you confide in. Those are the ones that you pray for and they pray for you. And that's not something that you can just get anywhere. That's in high school, like since I started my faith, I don't talk to a lot of the guys that I used to run around with back in the day because we just don't have the same interests anymore. And I'm okay with that. They're okay with that. You want to come out drinking? No, I don't drink. You want to come to church? No, I don't go to church. Well, I guess we're out of court. It's just, it is what it is. But yeah, putting him first, that was the hardest conversation I ever had to have with my wife. Was I sat her down one day and I said I need to talk to you, and she's like, what's going on? She thought I was like leaving or the kids are broken or something, and I was like, I need you to promise me that you will put God before me every time, because I will put God before you. And that was the hardest conversation that I've ever had to have with her. She was raised Catholic. She's a recovering Catholic. So she got, that whole mentality growing up, and she's always known the Lord. She's always felt His presence. She's just never got teaching like we get now, And that was one of the hardest conversations I ever had to have with him. And my biggest flex as a Christian is if you ask my children who loves you more than Daddy, they say Jesus. So
that's what it should be.
That's my biggest flex. That's my biggest flex I got. Everything else is just day-to-day stuff, I attend Bible study every Monday. Abel, he comes with me. We got a real good group of people in there, really tight-knit group of people. And that's a big part of what being a Christian is you have a base, you have family that you don't share a name with or DNA with that would do the exact same things that the person you do share a DNA with would do for you. Yeah. And that's a huge aspect that a lot of people don't talk about is the community.
And it can be probably
is very strong.
Yeah, and at times can be more of a brother or a sister than blood. And so
that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Blood makes you related, love makes you family.
Yeah.
That's how I explain it to people. So I got a lot of people that in my life that I do a lot for, and I did not know them until 4 or 5 years ago. It's just it's been an amazing journey. He's helped me be a better father, a better husband, a better man, and he can do that for anybody. You just gotta have faith. You just gotta put your faith in him and hit your knees and give him everything and let him work his magic.
That's it, man. So, guys, again, we're going to put the links and stuff like that on the description to where, and you said it was Deck Talk 15, correct?
Yes, sir. Deck Talk, DECKTALK 15.
So we're going to put that down also for the code for y'all. Make sure you go and check them out and keep in tune with what we're going to be doing, because as soon as I'm going to make an order for those bearings, as soon as I get them, we're going to figure out something. Maybe we can do something, Beau, to where we can do to where we can pick something to where y'all are doing something to where we have people to where if they have to watch what you do and answer us on our end, to where it's collabing on both ends. And
100%.
we will, and we'll be giving out those bearings. And so, because we want y'all to be able to put them in your reels and be able to see the difference in performance.
Absolutely.
But with that being said, we have one question that we ask everybody that comes on. We did not ask Demonte, so I guess we can't say everybody. But
oh man.
So Pappy, do you want to ask the last question before we get off here? Or?
Go ahead.
Okay. So Beau, if you could have one person that you can fish with for the day on the boat, fishing with for the day, can be living or have passed away, who would it be, and why would you want them on your boat?
You're probably not like I mean, it would probably be Jesus, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
that's who I would pick. Just because I mean I would probably cry the whole time, but that's okay.
Beau,
professional angler, that's a different story.
Right. So we've had somebody said that same thing, and it was, and I told him, I says, I don't know if I would want to fish with Jesus, because he'd be telling me the whole time, "You stupid! It's on the other side of the boat." So.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah, he definitely outfished me. That's for sure.
Yeah,
no doubt that.
So, but Beau, thank you for coming on, and thank you for
thank you.
The information was
information.
I could not. I wasn't expecting that much information, to be honest with you, and and it gives everybody a good idea to what they need to be looking for when they purchase batteries. So guys, again, go check out Volta Power, and then I mean, get them, try them out, and let them know what you think about it. I mean, because that's good or bad feedback is always positive for a company. So
that's right. And then if anybody has any questions before you want to purchase, feel free to reach out. You're going to get me. You're going to get Abel. You're going to get my dad. You're going to get somebody that's going to have the answers for you. And if we don't have them, we will find them. So
awesome.
Feel free.
So, and again, guys, thank you for watching. Golly, how did I miss all those? Dang. We had like a bunch of comments and stuff that I didn't even see. So, but guys, I'll go back through the comments. Some odd reason I was not picking them up until I clicked off of what I was looking at. But I'll go back through, and on the questions, I will. I'll send them to Beau, and then we'll be able to relay the questions back to you. So we'll figure that out.
Absolutely.
But guys, thank you for staying on with us for almost 2 hours and 45 minutes. And I hope y'all had fun with this one, with having a Demonte on, talking about some college football, to Beau talking about batteries and bearings, and then the cleaners was, I hope y'all really enjoyed it, and stay tuned till next week. We have Caleb Bell with Bass Quest Fishing Charters. This guy I call him the fish whisperer. He pulls in big fish day in and day out. And I don't know what all he does, how he talks to these fish, but he does a great job. And we're going to have him do a map study. So make sure you stay tuned to it. And he's going to do transition from spring to summer map study for us here next week. So, guys, hope you have a blessed day. Remember, God loves you as if you are the only person in this world to love. And we will see you out on the water, guys.
Have a good one.
Amen.